Well, that's a great start to tonight. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, everybody here to the ProPokeBowl Season 5, Week 3. My name is ProPokeNoob, and thank you very much for joining me. We've already seen 2 exciting weeks coming up with all of our participants, and now it's starting to get to that 1/3 of the season. We are getting close to when the points really do start mattering. Yes, it's only been 2 weeks, but this tournament moves quick, and you gotta go the best you can every single time you have that opportunity. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. We do have some announcements to go through, but first, let's take a look at the points that have been acquired by our coaches. You're going to notice that points look a little weird this week, but nonetheless, Fortnite Ninjas sitting sole possession of first place. I am Groot in second. Third, a 3-way tie between the Traverse City Thunderers, Lunar Crescelias, and Manchester Benetric, while 6th place, that 6th seed, is looking super juicy between Ice Cold Todd Skyrim Howard and Las Vegas Golden Lucarios. And last but not least, Sarasota Suicunes and Golden State Greninjas have yet to make their stand in this tournament, but luckily for them, there are 8 more weeks that they get to do anything, and it's technically 7. We're going to say 8. There is a quick announcement that I do need to make, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to switch a little bit, the thing here. There we go. We're going to switch to this music so it makes it a little bit easier for me to say. That music is actually super hard for me to talk over. I don't know why. Nonetheless, quick announcement before we continue on tonight. I do have to regrettably say that Coach Gillip of the Miami Milotics has bowed out of the ProPokeBowl. We thank you very much for him participating and doing everything he can. It was not a ban or a DQ. He self-forfeited and removed himself from the tournament himself. So the way that this will work is every coach, as you saw, will get a 2-0 from here on in. Any points that were recorded before his bow out, which was at the beginning, or sorry, at the end of week 2, will remain the same, which was both coaches received 3 points. All of his Pokemon have been added back to the trade pool and will be available immediately after tonight. So any trades and anything like that is just treated as a normal trade, and it's all been added back. There will be no replacements for the coach. What this will mean is there will only be 4 matches for the remainder of the weeks, minus 1 week where we have now a super week, where there will be 5 matches between the remaining 10 coaches. But otherwise, you'll be seeing less battles, but still more hype, and I think it's going to be really good to see. Unfortunately, we want to see what Gillip could have done. What Gillip did in the tournament looked okay thus far, and I hope that he can participate again. But alas, we do have to move on. We have our matches for the night. The Ice Cold going up against Fortnite Ninjas to start off our night, followed by the Sarasota Suicunes versus the Golden State Greninjas. Traverse City Thunderers versus I Am Groot, our featured match of the week, and we'll make sure you guys are up to date with that. Make sure you stay around so you can do some betting, turn yourself a buttload of Nubits. And ending off the night, the Manchester Benetric versus the Lunar Crescelias. That battle may be delayed if the battles go too quick tonight, but nonetheless, we're going to make everything work. Let's just get right into the analysis between Ice Cold and the Fortnite Ninjas. I think there's been a lot more build than you expect from this, considering that we have been talking a lot about these guys, and we've been seeing that Mitchie has been crushing the competition. Ice Cold dropping a match you didn't want to see him drop, but nonetheless, both of them are going to be going to clashing against each other today. We had some questions about what was going between Anish and Mitchie. We do think that there's a lot of experience on the side of Mitchie W that's going to make this somewhat imbalanced. However, we do know that Initiator has been practicing quite a bit. He's been showing some great stuff with his Trick Room team. A lot of Pokemon on his team have been doing decently well, and I think it's going to be a similar situation where we've seen with the Greninjas, where over time we're going to see more development and understanding of what the team's full capabilities are. Now, the nice thing here, at least for him, is despite the fact that he lost Mawile for this week, he still has a lot of fast Pokemon which could try and keep up if he didn't want to run Trick Room. I do expect the Trick Room coming out, though. If we are to see that type of thing, I'm curious to see if a Slowking or a Spiritomb will make an appearance on the side of the Fortnite Ninjas, although I don't think he really needs to make much work around that. He has lost Latias, which means that Tapu Bulu is most likely going to be making his way onto the team. I do favor that Rotom Heat having a lot of coverage, though. Between the fire and the electric stab that Rotom Heat brings, there's going to be a lot of damage coming out from that particular Pokemon. So I'm curious to see if he's going to bring in a more offensive one. I mean, Choice Specs, Z-Crystal, we've seen a lot of Z-Crystal use. We've seen a lot of Choice Scarf use, too. And I do favor Rotom most times as the Choice Scarfer, but that's me, and I'm not playing. So obviously there's going to be better sets. Nonetheless, Mitchie has been showing a great amount of pressure with his team. He's very well built around this kind of offensive momentum type of battle, keeping his switches pure, reading 2 steps ahead that he has to, and just putting down the damage when he needs to, and finishing off a lot of games with his Gengar or his Conkeldurr. So I think a lot of those slow threats would be just as bad as his fast threats, and we'll see if he can put something together. And for Ice Cold, we'll see what he can do. We've liked what he brought in. We are going to see the Moltres potentially for the first time tonight, as it was the trade that he made at the end of week 2, but because of a week bye, we didn't get to see him on that week. So now it'll come down to whether or not he has brought a plan. Maybe Moltres is coming in time for this. There is a trade we're going to be talking about later that does seem to be extremely week-specific. Does Inish have a plan, or is Fortnite Ninjas going to sneakily take 3 more points and remain undefeated in this tournament? We'll wait for the coaches to get loaded up onto Showdown, and then we'll go on from there. Of course, if you guys want to catch all the action you may have missed, you can go over missed? Twitch.tv/ProPokeDoob/video/collections to go check out the ProPokeBowl Season 5 playlist, where you can see all of the weeks beforehand as well as the drafting process. And furthermore, I don't know where I was going with that. Social media shows off a lot of information if you guys want to keep up to date with the action. Also in our Discord, if you want to see the coaches talk, the coaches plan, all of the inner workings that happen in the back of this tournament. There are a lot of things that go into making sure that this tournament is as organized as we could possibly make it. And I'm glad that everybody is doing their part. Thank you to all the coaches who have been keeping up to time and up to date with all of their information being put in timely. It makes this so much less stressful. Thank you to all the viewers who are making this experience phenomenal. Nonetheless, we see a battle. We're going to jump right into it. The first series of the night between Ice Cold and Fortnite Ninjas. Let's get into it. Oh my, this is so hard to manage. Ah! Wait! Where are we here? Why are you over there? You should be right here. Boop! There we go. Let's go! Ice Cold on the far side, Fortnite Ninjas on the close side. We do actually see a fairly slow team coming out from Ice Cold, but we don't actually know what he's going to be running with this, because it does look like that Rotom Heat has made it in. So this should be super interesting to watch. That Gengar is going to be primed to set up. If there's no Trick Room out, that thing outspeeds everything, and based on its coverage, it could do a giant number here on Ice Cold. But we also see that Gigalith making its way in. We're yet to see him use it, because he did make a recent trade for it. Now it comes to what is going to happen with it. Composition-wise, Slowbro actually looking not too bad here. If that Slowbro stays alive on Ice Cold, it's going to be tanking up a lot of hits. As long as he's not getting hit with anything that's super effective. We do have to worry if there's maybe a... Well, it's probably just going to be the Shadow Ball on the Gengar. But if it carries a Psychic move, might be able to tank a hit and then get a kill. But nonetheless, they are into it. It is going to be a Slowking versus the Mesprit lead. Do expect this Mesprit to either U-turn or Stealth Rock, as the Slowking most likely just going to go for Dragon Tail, or even might just scout to see if he can tank up a Thunderbolt, depending on what this Mesprit's build is. Nonetheless, I do expect that he's either just going to tank it, go for Regenerator, wait for the U-turn, or maybe Dragon Tail to try and throw off a potential U-turn, or just try and switch into something and get a little bit more information. It does seem that if you get a niche in on the wrong Pokemon, I think Fortnite has enough ways to switch to be able to send in a Pokemon that will give him favor. We actually see a hard switch come out, and that Dragon Tail does happen on the Ferrothorn, but the Ferrothorn is going to put a decent chunk into that Slowking. We don't see leftovers, so it might be that Patent Assault Vest set that we've seen before. Ferrothorn once again coming in. It's not going to earn him a lot, but it is going to be a sizable amount of damage, as the Kyurem is now going to be phased back in. At least with Regenerators only getting 33% back, so that's not too bad in terms of damage that the Slowking is going to be tanking up. But again, he doesn't lose too much, as... I thought I did this. Oh. Alright, either way. Nonetheless, the Fortress is going to be coming in as the Leech Seed does come out. This Ferrothorn so far getting a fair amount of value. Rapid Spin could come out here, but I don't think it's worth taking between Rocky Helmet and Iron Barb's damage. So we'll have to see. Maybe we see some hazard stacking. It will indeed be the hazard stacking. Inish should not be staying in on this. We've seen what happens when hazards set up. Look back to week 2 when we just saw the team get absolutely swept through. That Moltres is going to be making its way in. I'm curious to see just a second layer of spikes. Now you do have to see that Fortress get out here. It's not going to be great. There is already damage going down on a couple of Pokemon on the side of Fortnite Ninjas. Not the worst thing, but I do expect just to see the straight Defog come through here. But the Gigalith is a smart switch, because now it'll force the Moltres out, and we'll most likely see just a Stealth Rock fly out instead. Most times in Pokemon, you're just going to be making these sorts of trades, because you can't risk losing your Pokemon that early, and the Stealth Rock indeed do make their way in as the Ferrothorn. Once again, a safe switch. We're going to be seeing this for a long time until we see someone make that move that's going to break him in. The Conkeldurr is going to come out, and the damage is okay, but that's a free Flame Orb setup, which means now we're looking at Guts, and we're looking at a setup Conkeldurr that's ready to punch something. And this is the move we needed to see from Mitchie to break this stall. Because at that time, Ice Cold had to manage for a little bit. But all it takes is a couple of strong hits. And this whole core just breaks down. Slowbro will be coming in to try and take the Drain Punch. It's actually just going to be a knockoff instead. That's another thing to look for. We don't see an item knocked off, which means this is a Mega Slowbro. It has to be. It's got to be. It's either a Z Crystal or a Mega Slowbro. It will indeed be the Mega Slowbro making its way in. Tanks it up well with that increased defense. The Slack Off comes through. This is actually really cool from the side of Anish because he's probably going to go for Slack Off again, which means we most likely will see a switch on the side of Mitchie to that Slowking as the Calm Mind instead happens, knowing he doesn't need to Slack Off right away. So good setup here by Anish as he's just going to be going for it, but he forgets about the Dragon Tail and gets sent away and brings Crabominable in. I don't think Crabominable necessarily wants to stay in here. Doesn't have anything, I don't think, that can one-shot a Slowking. You don't want to risk getting hit with that Psychic move, although we see Future Sight a lot. So I don't know, but either way, the Ferrothorn is going to make its way back in case another Dragon Tail happens, but it will be the Psychic flying out. So good scout here by Anish. This Ferrothorn seems to be a fantastic answer to the Slowking and everything it wants to do. The most you got to worry about is a burn on the Ferrothorn, which would suck, but he just wants it for Rocky Helmet and the Leech Seeding, so maybe some hazards here and there. Maybe. Nonetheless, though, a very even match thus far. You can definitely see they've both kind of seen what each other want to do. It looks like Initiator's got a lot more plans than you'd expect for him to bring in against a former ProPokeBowl champion and first place currently in this season. It's going to come down to this. You got to see that Rotom Heat eventually come in, try and just scare something out. It's either going to be a double switch, or it's going to be a Rotom Heat coming in to eventually go for the Volt Turn. Volt Switch to be able to get another sizable advantage. I think that'll be the way to get in. But no! Surprise, surprise! A Fire Blast flies out from the Slowking, and that's going to be a moveset and a half to remember for game number 2. But that's going to get a huge advantage. Now, that Ferrothorn was an answer to a couple of Pokemon, and there's that advantage that Mitchie's going to grab. And this is a big deal because that Ferrothorn was a great defensive Pokemon for Initiator. Now he's got to work without that giant piece. What is his answer now? I think, if you look at the rest of his Pokemon, Slowking can still tank a lot up, so you kind of wanted to see that Ferrothorn try and do something to this, but it was only doing it just for the sake of Dragon Tail. He's not going to make that mistake a second time, you can expect, at least, hopefully. Unless he tries to make a prediction in game 2, but that's a big roast. That's a huge deal, actually, considering... Like, even if he goes into something like Hiram, it's going to take the rocks damage plus a bunch of damage from Slowking. The fact that it's also got Regenerate is not even going to mean much, so he's just going to end up taking a bunch of damage with anything that's going to want to do damage. So... what does he do? He's just going to go in to his Moltres. The Gigalith is going to make his way out as the defog happens again. But the problem here is even if he goes for Roost, he's taken so much damage that it's almost like he can keep making this play, but the Gigalith just feels super safe. There's no Sun to get blasted with an Ice move. The Toxic does miss, sorry, Grass move I meant to say. But like Gigalith doesn't fear pretty much anything except like Grassium Z, but it's got the special defense boost from the Sand, so it might not even die. Plus it probably has Sturdy, so no matter what, you're just losing value from this. There's actually a Reflect set up here from the Mesprit. Screens potentially as Kyurem's going to make its way in. I don't think it's going to like this as Toxic will come through. I'm pretty sure a Rock Blast or a Stone Edge is still going to destroy this thing more than what Kyurem could do, but at this point Nish has very little options. Need to make some kind of breakthrough. That Earth Power does nothing because like I said, that special defense boosted up. Life Orb, yeah, okay, whatever. And the rocks are flying at the Icy Chicken. That is not a KFC bucket you want to be eating out of. Nothing but rocks and frozen chicken. But nonetheless, there's not much he can do here. He has broken through the Sturdy, which is okay, but the Ice Beam does come out, doesn't get the freeze. Kyurem will be sacking itself off. And once again, we see that this is stuck. Don't have an answer to this core. Defensive cores have been a giant defining factor this entire tournament, and we see it here again. But that Slowking has no answers. We didn't see a power-up come out from the Ferrothorn, but even then, if it came out, the Fire Blast happened first. We need an answer, and there's not going to be a good one here. Stone Edge flies through. It's going to be a Psychic. It's going to one-shot this Crabominable, and it's all falling apart for Ice Cold. Mitchie W, Fortnite Ninjas, cracking the ice. Trying to make the points flow straight into his bank. Wants that other 2-0 starting off his tournament really, really strong. Mesprit will come in, but I don't know what's going to do unless it drops Thunderbolt. It's going to have to go for U-turn or something, but even then, nothing's going to do enough damage, so he's feeling very safe here. He can make even the switch, doesn't matter. Regenerator says hello. Gigalith comes in. Psyshock does nothing. Too strong of a core right now. It needs answers. I think this is definitely going to be Initiator playing out this game 1, but then in the end just thinking about what he's going to be bringing for game 2. This is pretty much lost. Double Toxic Mist does not matter, as nothing's really being lost here for the side of the ninjas. Slowking comes back in. Psyshock does nothing. He's going to keep getting this Regenerator boost. It doesn't really matter, so he's going to also be wasting the Reflect, which means that, well, he just goes for Dragon Tail, switches it out, gets more chip damage here. Oh! The Molcha's brought into between the rocks and the sand. It is going to be taken down. There's not anything here really left to answer. The Gengar's going to be able to go for Shadow Ball before that Mega Slowbro can set up. I think he still has enough Pokemon to just put enough damage down on the Slowbro. If the Slowbro does set up, he could see it, but I think Bulu, the Slowking, of course, is going to be answering that fairly easily. Now, if Initial wanted to play this the best he could, maybe sack off the Mesprit and then try his best to get that Mega Slowbro in so he can't get Dragon-tailed, so he can try and actually set up. But something tells me I feel like this is too... Yeah, the Healing Wish does come out. Okay, I like this coming out from Inish. The sand is also down, which means Slowbro Mega will be healed up to full. Will still take the rocks damage, and we'll have 3 turns of that Reflect up. He's going to have to go for Calm Minds and trying to sweep here, but the question is, can he do enough in time and tank up enough between the Slack-offs and everything else to stay alive? It might happen, but Gigalith coming in makes me think he's just going to go for the sand, try and get some stab here, or try and get some chip damage, as well as maybe go for the explosion, just try and get extra damage off, or go for Rock Blast followed by explosion. But I think the chip damage here is the most important. Surf will come through, take out the Gigalith. Surf getting him just that little bit extra damage over Scald. And now Rotom Heat will come in. I feel like 2 Rotom Heat blasts at +1 special defense. We'll take this thing through. Not even close to taking the hit. He's too low to win this. And ladies and gentlemen, that will be Fortnite Ninjas taking game number 1. GG. And that's the expectation when your defensive core gets shut down in this metagame. Seen it multiple times. We've talked about it. ProPokeBowl predicated on those good defensive cores. The moment you chip them down, that's it, right? And really, we got to go back to the drawing board and ask, what do we need to see out of the side of Ice Cold? Really, like, he needs something to break through that Slowking. He could have done it if he'd set up, but even then he's just going to keep getting phased. So that Slowking definitely having something for that Ferrothorn is a big deal. So he can't sit out there as comfortably. He knows he can't sit out there as comfortably. From looking at the team, I like Dusknoir. Considering Dusknoir just brings that stab ghost attack that can basically hit it on the physical side when you have an Assault Vest on the Slowking, might be his best course of action. But other than that, because he's lost his Mawile for this week, Mimikyu could also be the other Pokemon coming in to answer. He's just got to make sure he's seen now that there is knockoff on the Conkeldurr. He's also seen that between that, we haven't seen what item necessarily is on that Rotom yet. We did see it move first, but it doesn't actually matter about that. But he's got a few things to answer. I wouldn't go Yen Mega because it's probably going to be specially defensive. I would either go with the Mimikyu or the Dusknoir. The other thing we have to note is we didn't see Trick Room used. Actually, we saw a pretty standard team use, so I don't know if he's keeping that in the back, but I don't think Trick Room matters here, because what Mitchie has brought is a phenomenal combination of defensive core. It's really hard to break, and the really unique thing is if you did see Mimikyu come out, Fortress has Gyro Ball, and Mimikyu is really fast, so you're going to see Gyro Ball destroy... that Mimikyu, or at least be able to take a hit or two, considering it doesn't carry a fire move most times, so I'm really curious to see what's going to be happening with this, because that Rotom Heat's going to be a problem as well. But really, I think Initiator is going to have to make a switch here. I don't think that team is going to do it, but that's okay. The good thing about a series of 2, he can still go home this week with a point. And of course, you don't want to be falling too far behind. Losing an 0-2 here and there can kind of suck, but if you really want to stay for top 6, you need to be grabbing 1 point every week, 3 points every week. You don't want to drop too many series, because over time, it just catches up, and as people start doing better, and you start losing points, the hemorrhage just gets too much. You end up with a dead team, so I feel like Dusknoir or Mimikyu is probably going to make an appearance here. Does Fortnite Ninjas need to predict that? I don't think so. Spiritomb, it wouldn't be very good if it came in when the Mimikyu comes in. If Dusknoir came in, it would be okay to handle it because it wouldn't have to worry too much because there's no stab. There's no super effective fairy move on Dusknoir. But really what he's carrying, I think, is fine. If he wanted to make... Because he also knows he didn't see Power Whip come out from the Ferrothorn even though the Slowking outsped. So he could probably just stay with the same team if he really wanted to. Unless he's going to go all in and go Tapu Bulu, considering his entire team is named Tapu Bulu. Who knows? But nonetheless, we'll have to see what ends up happening in game number 2. Holy cow. I was actually going to make an announcement also at the beginning. I feel bad that I'm not able to catch up with everybody's subscriptions, hosts, raids, bits, and stuff like that. So at the end of every ProPokeBowl week, I am going to do like a really big shout out to everybody. But since we're here waiting, Marie with the 22-month resubscription. Thank you very much for continuing to be a fellow noob. Embrace the face. I see you've already done that. And Gamma, thank you very much for that gifted sub to Survivor Boss. And Boss, you're a fellow nooblets. Congratulations. Embrace the face. You get to add a name to future Nuzlocke runs as well. We'll deal with that later. Embrace. No, the other one. I need that. Embrace it. PG, of course. Preferably G. But you can add trainer class or trainer name. We'll see what happens in game number 2, though. Really, I'm looking forward to the switches. This could be, like, it looked pretty good, and then you saw the collapse, but that's what's gonna happen, right? It's those types of moves that will end someone's battles really quickly. So for Anish, is he gonna go more defensive here? Is he gonna tank it more? Or is he gonna try to do the same thing, but try and make his own play first? Let's get into game number 2 and find out, ladies and gentlemen, because he is on the back. He wants more points. He's gonna need the points, because right now, Mitchie's sitting pretty. Let's get into it. Game number 2 is upon us. Let's take a look at the switches. Alright. He is gonna bring in the exact same team. Same thing with Fortnite Ninjas. Initiator definitely confident that he can play this out differently. But we'll have to see, because that Slowking really gave him a lot of trouble. This might be a mistake, this might be confidence, I don't know what it is. But nonetheless, I like it. Let's see what the switch is going to be. Perhaps he tries to get a little bit of a better switch. That also means that there might be a move that he has on his Pokemon. He might have actually had Power, but just never saw it. What do you use? We saw Gyro Ball, we saw Leech Seed. So we don't know what else that Ferrothorn. We haven't seen the full moveset on Ferrothorn, but the Rotom Heat's going to be leading off against the Mesprit here. If we see the Volt Switch come out, it's going to be taking a decent amount of damage. We could see a screen instantly set up here for the side of Initiator. As Gigalith will make his way, an instant sand setup. The Reflect indeed does come out, which won't be too bad, because at least that means if Gigalith was to go for a hit, or Conkeldurr, ooh! Unfortunately knew exactly what was going to happen. He wanted to tank the damage better from Conkeldurr, but an excellent play from the Fortnite Ninjas here. Just being able to go into that Rotom Heat double switch and destroys the Mega Slowbro. The worst thing about this of all things is the fact that he no longer has Regenerator. He has Shell Armor upon Mega, and he just gets completely outplayed turn 3. What an excellent play here from the side of Fortnite Ninjas. The Fire Blast is going to go out, predicting that Ferrothorn. Good play here. Mitchie just reading the thing. He also knows he doesn't lose anything, so these types of plays, nothing costly to the side of Mitch. He actually over-predicts, goes for a second Fire Blast, but once again, there is no over-prediction when you have nothing to lose, considering your Pokemon's going to be safe. He does go up to +1, forces the Dragon Tail, so excellently played by Initiator. Knows he also can't get touched except by the likes of Dragon Tail, and he knows he can at least get one. He can at least get a single, what's it called? A single slack off done. So well played by Anish. Both players playing it out well, but he does get that damage down by going for Outrage. Hopefully he gets a 2-turn Outrage, and he's gonna get it. So that's lucky for Anish, or he would have lost his Kyurem there way too prematurely. The Outrage, though, the mixed Kyurem, which is actually a fairly common thing to see. That's a lot of damage he could do, but it's about a net value of 17%, so he's going to have to do a little bit better than that, but nonetheless, we saw it. The Volt Switch will be coming out from that Fortress as the Ferrothorn makes its way in. The Rotom Heat will come back in, can threaten. We're most likely going to see not the Overheat. We're just going to see a Volt Switch again. Don't want to make that risk going into Mega Slowbro again, just in case, though. So the most likely switch here will have to be that Mesprit, or that Chicken's got to come in. He's got Frozen Chicken and Fire Chicken. I just realized he's got double KFC on the side of Ice Cold. Serve it up cold and hot. What is going to be the play, though? This is the problem. Rotom Heat, we did mention. Rotom Heat's a big threat, so something's just going to have to take damage, and it will be the Mesprit coming in as the Overheat actually flies out, and that's actually not too bad for the side of Ice Cold, because that Mesprit took it, you know, fairly well, all things considered. And now we get to see if this thing is a Z Crystal, or if it's choice, and if it's choice, it's going to have to hard switch, because then it can't go for that Volt Switch, because it will outspeed. So if he wants that Volt Switch to get that extra damage, it might even be worth it to reveal it. He can just hard switch it. He's not worried. But he might also want to see if anything's going to stay in so he can get the favorable switch, which will help Fortnite Ninjas secure trying to take down this defensive core that's still in shambles for Ice Cold, but standing firm for now. This is actually a little tense, because if that Mega Slowbro gets in at the right time, he is just going to go for Volt Switch. He wanted to see that Mesprit stay in. Gigalith comes back in. Rinse, repeat for Fortnite Ninjas. Reflect, rinse, repeat for Ice Cold. But he's only got so many plays to make here with this Mesprit. His time is numbered as Crabominable will be coming in as the Stealth Rock comes through. Alright, so now he's got this favorable hit. He can go for a really strong hit, but he's got to remember, Sturdy is... Oh, wait, no, he doesn't have Sturdy on this. He's got Sandstream. I'm an idiot. Earthquake will come... I am smart. I swear, I know Pokemon. Yes. Anyways, Earthquake happens on the Fortress. Nothing really done here, but, you know, you don't want to take... You don't want Hazard stacking up here, because Crabominable doesn't have a lot to really threaten this Bulu. Ice Hammer is not going to hurt this. Earthquake's not going to be hurting it. You can go for Superpower, but, you know, I think an extra Hazard or two will help Mitchie finish everything off here in the end. As the Moltres will have to come in. And I think Defog is going to remove that Reflect, unfortunately. But yeah, he has to force this, which means we know that Gigalith is going to be making its way in. Free switches for Fortnite Ninjas are free, unless we see a Grassium Z. But it's not Grassium Z, as we already seen the leftovers, so that's not going to happen. The Defog will have to happen, and he's got to get rid of everything. Oh, he doesn't get rid of his own screens. Interesting. Wow, Defog's stupid. Anyways, I thought it would. Doesn't it? It only gets rid of opponent's screens? Huh. Goes for the Hurricane. Oh, he gets the Confusion. Can he get the hacks? It's not going to happen, but luckily for him, once again, Mitchie trying to get that Ferrothorn out of here. The Overheat's wasted on deaf ears here for the Moltres, as a Roost is fairly free here. Also saw he's faster, so it's not Choice Scarf. And or that's Max, well, no, if it's Max Speed Moltres, that's Choice Scarf. But the Kyurem's going to be coming in, but so is that Gigalith. He's still not going to one-shot, whether it's Sturdy there or not, but he can try and get some damage off here, but I'm pretty sure he wanted that Slow King to be in here so he could go for another Outrage on it. But because that Fortress is still up, there's not a lot he can really do with this right now, so maybe this is a sack to try and get a favorable switch in to that Mega Slowbro, try and get damage off. The Slowbro's actually make its way in right now, as the rocks do get set up. Now, he can still go for this, but does he have it? Yeah, I don't think he has anything. What, he's got HP Ghost? I don't know, he can't have HP Ghost. We have seen Surf, we haven't seen his Force, but he's got HP Ghost for that Slow King. I don't know what else he could do. He's lucky to have missed that Toxic, though, because that would have sealed the deal, despite the fact, well, no, he'd have to send in Chicken, which then means, that Mesprit, never mind, has enough HP to come in on rocks one more time and go for the Healing Wish. But you don't want to risk that, as the Slow King now comes in on that switch with the Ferrothorn, and Ferrothorn's seen this same old song and dance before. It doesn't want to become the Fire Chicken. Its name is Ferrothorn, not Firethorn, as Power Whip is revealed but misses. But Mitchie, again, feeling safe, makes that switch. It doesn't have to now lose Pokemon, and he knows he's safe because now he knows that this Pokemon is not touching the Fortress. So, hazards are free. The Chicken's going to have to do a cleanup here. Otherwise, all the Pokemon are starting to get wiped out here. Gengar outspeeds everything and taking 12% from rocks plus 25% from the spikes. Not looking pretty when you got a Life Orb. Slow. Oh my god. Gengar firing off. It is tough to say words. Jarbo will come in. Yes, this Bulu knockoff takes a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter. Go for Power, but dare you. Yep, there's the third layer of spikes. Jarbo does come in. Trying to see something coming here. I don't know what Initiator's trying to predict, but unfortunately, he is staring down the barrel of all of this stackage. As tall as the stacks of the Galarian Wheezing, though Leech Seed's gonna miss as the Conkeldurr once again comes in with the Flame Orb. Don't know how much that's going to matter in the end because, yeah, the chip damage would be nice on this Conkeldurr, but I'm more concerned with the fact there's a bunch of spikes and a bunch of rocks on the side of Ice Cold. And last time I checked, Rock doesn't like those things. Knockoff will come in, knocks off the Rocky helmet, so he does stay safe as he is going to have to go for the leech seed. He is going to get this chip damage. I'm almost curious to see if he just gone for the damage instead. I guess he knows that Drain Punch could happen, so he's just trying to get that chip damage off to somewhat negate that healing. But otherwise, I think Ice Cold's in the corner now, because he's going to have to send something in eventually. Is that chicken healthy enough? It's not, and because he doesn't have a spinner, that chicken's doomed. So yeah, these hazards are here to stay, no matter what. So that's why he is actually just letting those hazards happen. But, I mean, he could have put some kind of pressure on, but he does prevent that Drain Punch from going off, giving him a bunch of health back. So not too bad here for Ice Cold. But now the question is, what does he go for? Everything's coming in with 37% damage on it. The Mesprit barely lives from the rocks and has Levitate, so it's not going to get pierced by the spikes on the ground. But the Mach Punch is going to take it out. There's no Healing Wish, and I think that's also no Witches left. If Initiator wants to take this match, I'd be very surprised. But there is still that same play. Based on the damage you saw from Rotom Heat, though, it's looking bleak. But one can believe Mega Slowbro is going to come in. The Slowking says hi. The Slack Off comes out. He will be gaining HP at least with every switch. So it's not the end completely. He just has to catch that Rotom Heat at the right time. As the Dragon Tail makes the most sense here, he knows the hazards will just stack very slowly. The more Pokemon that get stacked here, the more that his Rotom Heat could just stay safely in the back, come out when it needs to, drop the Thunderbolt, drop the Volt Switch, and finish it off with a Gengar. What a great composition coming out here from the Fortnite Ninjas. Close combat does end up happening, does okay, but that's not enough to get even past Regenerator. Crabominal waves goodbye. So does Amma's money eventually when he has to give that sub over to Initiator. And the Kirum's gonna drop 2, and it's 6-2. The Fire Blast is on the Slowking. The Mega Slowbro has nothing left to do. The same play is going to be made here. Mega Slowbro coming back in at the end. But all said and done, got to hope for a miss. Didn't happen. And it's looking super clean here for a 2-0 for the Fortnite Ninjas. Still undefeated in the tournament. But he hasn't earned it yet. Surf comes out, does next to nothing as a Toxic will basically seal the deal. You know, it was a valiant effort. You might question if Initiator had anything to kind of switch up to try and help out his team's case to take on the Slowking. It's not even the Slowking. The Rotom Heat also had no real answers because the Volt Switch is always free. Yes, the Firebird could come in, but Moltres can only do so much. It got the damage off, could tank the hit, but in the end, that's all there's going to be. As at this point, all he needs to do is just keep getting damage down on that Mega Slowbro, as the Toxic will tick it down. Valiant effort, but it's gonna do nothing for him. 2-0 for the Fortnite Ninjas to start off Week 3. Mitchie built this very intelligently. Very, very intelligently. As Initiator is most likely just doing salty heal strats, but you know. Can you blame the man? No, you cannot. He's trying to stall it out. He wants as much time on the screen as possibly can. He's just going to be going over the Slack Off. He's going to be running low to that PP. As the Psychic is just going to keep him flying out. He could just see that Rotom Heat come in, or we might just even see the Death by 1,000 Paper Cuts coming out from the Fortnite Ninjas here. The Slack Off's going to be happening. He just wants the Death by 1,000 Ninjas. He's just doing it. Death by 1,000 Shurikens. He's going to keep slipping away here. Dragon Tail comes in. He knows he'll be doing more damage that way. Maybe we'll see the Slowking die. Maybe, but it doesn't matter. GG, the 2-0 for a Fortnite. And what can you expect? The team comes out. Mitchie's an intelligent battler, intelligent builder, and really, you can ask, why did Initiator switch? We don't know. But nonetheless, he didn't switch, which means he had to deal with the same thing, but the same issues came up. This Slowking remained unanswered, the damage still happened, and that's just the way it's gonna be, so GG to both of them. I think it was a valiant effort. However, I think Mitch still had the upper hand just a little bit, especially when you saw how clinically he took the battles out. And yeah, I think it was the best that we could have seen out of it. When we come back for the break, ladies and gentlemen, the Sarasota Suicunes will be going up against the Golden State Greninjas. Don't miss it. See you soon. Welcome back to the Pro Pokeball Season 5, Week 3 for our second series of the night. Which will be words, Sarasota Suicunes versus the Golden State Greninjas. Coach Gamer, Coach World Leader. You know, both of them have not gotten the start of the season that they wanted, but luckily for them, one of them is walking home above the other night, or they both go 1-1 and they just both stay at 4 points. That can happen, but they both have the opportunity to try and get their points going. We saw World Leader do a lot better when it came with the Aerodactyl on his team. He had that answer, that offensive pressure answer that we wanted to see. And for the side of what ends up happening when you've got the likes of that very difficult wall to break when it comes down to the Celatran plus the Mega Blastoise on the side of Sarasota Suicunes, it gets nasty. So now my question becomes, who's going to be doing it better? We did see a ban of the Tornadus against the Sarasota Suicunes, and the Aerodactyl was banned on the Golden State Greninja. So a very interesting decision between that Tornadus ban, considering I was looking through the teams, and I don't really see much of what Tornadus would do against World Leader. But he obviously knows something that I'm not thinking about, or is just worried about it, maybe just doesn't like playing against it. That's completely understandable. I mean, you don't want to be dropping games to something that you see that I don't. But nonetheless, let's take a look at the match here. With that Mega Aerodactyl gone, we wanted to see what switches could happen for the side of World Leader to make sure that he could keep that offensive pressure. When he brought a super defensive team with a lot of answers to a particular Pokemon he didn't like, it looked really good for him. But when it came down to losing that offensive pressure like we saw in Week 1, it just didn't do it. So now the issue becomes, what ends up happening when you want to see this whole thing happen? Like, that made no sense. But when he doesn't have Aerodactyl, he's left with Flygon, he's left with Cloyster, he's left with these other Pokemon, when it looks really good when he could just ram face with a Pokemon that could do a lot from stock. So now, can World Leader play that and go with him? For the side of Sarasota Suicunes, just gotta keep doing what he was doing. He got the 2-0 last week. Hoopa Unbound! Hoopa Unleashed! Hoopa was insane for him just to clean it up, and even if it didn't do that much, only took out a couple Pokemon here and there, it's a good Pokemon Scarf. It does a lot of damage. It's really flexible. Cleans up stuff. When you see that his defense doesn't get taken down, he's just looking like he's postured to win. But they're ready to go. So let's not keep him waiting any longer. They're looking to both get points over each other. Can they do it? Once I find where they are. Man, I have so many screens open, this is difficult to do. I invite you guys to take a tournament and try and run it by yourself. It's a fun experience, trust me. I mean that. Like, it's super fun. Alright, let's get into it. That's not game number 2, that's game number 1, but series number 2. Between the Sarasota Suicunes on the close side and the Golden State Greninjas on the far side. That Flygon will be the thing coming in. And on top of that, we got that good defensive core coming out from World Leaders. This is what we wanted to see. We don't see Celatran in this one, though. Maybe seeing that Celebi's not going to be getting him that much value. When you see something like Infernape and all these other Pokemon that can crush it, yeah, maybe you don't need it. But the Electros is going to be subbing in today. But nonetheless, actually it wasn't last time, but we have the Lucario coming in. This should be fun. Nonetheless, Mega Blaster is going to come through as that U-turn is going to come out. Doesn't confirm anything except there's no Life Orb. Ice Beam will happen on this non-Mega'd Venusaur. Battle of the Gen 1 Megas most likely to happen here. Thick Fat will help a bit. But that amount of damage, not exactly what you want to be seeing on it that early. Want to kind of get the Mega off to take less damage and threaten with the Giga Drain. But the Giga Drain most likely come out. We'll probably see Salamence come in. Something like that, just to be able to take the hits. Heatran's also a fantastic answer to the Venusaur. Even if it can't go for all that damage because of Thick Fat, it's still damage nonetheless, depending on what variation of Heatran he's been running. Most times, it has been offensive, as the Mega will be coming through. The Synthesis does come out, so nothing really lost here except the Electros being out and the Venusaur being super healthy. But good to note that Synthesis is on this. We did see Synthesis Leech Seed before, which did drop some coverage of Earthquake or HP Fire that you could be carrying on the Mega Venusaur. Sludge Bomb will come through. Actually, it's a sizable chunk to this. The HP Fire is going to do nothing. He's not going to earn Ice or Fire. Doesn't matter. Earns Electros next to nothing here. Gamer should have started to kind of see that coming. Maybe he thought it was going to be a switch of some kind, but the Sludge Bomb's not going to be doing anything to Lucario. Sorry, Dio. My bad. But anyways, let's fix that really quickly here. Let's see what's going to be happening with this. So the Lucario can set up if it wanted to, but if it has, like, we don't expect to see Earthquake because we see Synthesis and most likely Leech Seed or Sleep Powder. So if he is carrying Earthquake, it's specifically to take this on. The Nasty Plot comes out of this, and look at that! The Earthquake is found, but the Shuka Berry is on the Lucario. However, I don't know if a +2 anything from Lucario could take out Mega Venusaur. This could just be a dead Lucario in exchange to try and get a lot of damage down on this defensive wall. Can he win if he does this type of thing? Probably. But it's going to be a sacrifice of a Pokemon to make this Nasty Plot work. But it is going to be the Earthquake on this Venusaur, so bringing that specific moveset, we might not see Leech Seed today, or maybe a Grass move even, who knows? Maybe he just thinks, hey, I can scare off that Mega Venusaur, not even need Giga Drain, and I'll just kill him off some other way. World Leader brings the moves that I like to see. He builds for his opponent, and he builds it well. Already on his resurgence, we saw in Week 2 bringing out a phenomenal team that showed his strength that can be definitely top 6 material in this tournament. It's just a matter of how many points he can grab while being him, which is good. That's a good thing, by the way. Flash Cannon comes through, not even close to killing this man off as the Earthquake barely misses the kill. We'll have to damage calc that one, but that one's gonna suck, as he was expecting maybe to see the kill after the Shuka was 33 to 66. Maybe he could roll the 67, but no, he rolls the 65, which means Mega Venusaur is going to be dropping for this. And that's not going to be clean for him. Unfortunate for the side of the Golden State Greninjas. Damage roll you don't want to see, but we'll have to check that. How do I Mega this thing? How do I Mega you, Venusaur? Oh, there it is. Venusaur Mega. Shuka's used. So just to note, ladies and gentlemen, that Mega Venusaur's damage with the Earthquake is, in fact, 57 to 68%. He goes for the kill. It was 67% he had to get, so he was going for a high roll. Ooh, Infernape. Gotta be careful that Vacuum Wave is not on this, but the Mach Punch is gonna outspeed the Mega Lucario, or outspeed Lucario in general, I believe. Does it? Yeah, it does. Actually, yeah. It will outspeed him with the Mach Punch, so we'll take him out, so that's not too bad. The Salamence is gonna make his way in. But yeah, to go back to that Mega Venusaur play, just barely go. He goes for the high roll, and he doesn't get it. Much more odds against him, but nonetheless, that Lucario's handled at the expense of two of his Pokemon's health. What else is going to be going on in this battle? Salamence, we saw Steelium Z last week to handle the Florge. What's going to be going now when it comes to what it wants to do? I'd probably see a DD if it's coming out like this, or just threaten it with the Earthquake, threaten it with anything. We won't see Flying Z used on this. If anything, you know, Empoleon does make the most sense to come in here, but the Earthquake coming through hits both for super effective. In fact, maybe not even Empoleon, but it should have been the Gliscor coming in. Probably would have gotten a free Toxic Orb boost up, can go for Protect, get its health back, maybe even Roost. But yeah, that was not the biggest play, but he could have also forgotten about Earthquake being on this moveset, maybe using Prior Knowledge. He is going to go for it again. We don't see an item. We don't see Life Orb or stuff like that, so it could be Lum. It could be a Z Crystal. It could be a lot of things. Salamence can be a lot of things. And now what does it come down to? Because all the walls are getting chipped away, and we know that World Leader needs to get the damage down to get his sweeper in and winning, which I could assume on this is the Flygon, but this time we do see the Gliscor come in and as a bonus for free. So, Dragon Dance will come in. He's got to be careful of the Ice Fang, though, as a knockoff will happen, and we do see it is a Z Crystal, most likely. It's got to be a Z Crystal. There's nothing else he can do. And here it comes, the Z Power plus one Shattered Psyche. That is a Psychium Z? Psychium Z! Wow! What an interesting choice here. Maybe for that Mega Venusaur. But then again, if he went Flyinium Z, it would have wrecked even her because Stab. But Psychium Z for something. I'm going to have to go back and look at World Leader's team to see what that would be for. But even with a crit, as you can see, it just does 3/4. And it might sound like a lot to you. But as a Z Crystal at +1... That's Zen Headbutt, by the way, that Salamence is using to get that Psychium Z off. But +1 crit Z-Power against the Gliscor was 75% with a crit. That's ridiculous. That means it would have only done about 40-something% to this thing. So, That is most certainly something you don't want to see in terms of damage calcs to scare yourself up. But he is going to make the switch, which might mean he doesn't have Roost. Because that would have been... Actually, no, he had to be afraid. No, he could have gone for Protect and healed up a bit if he had Protect too. But nonetheless, it is going to be the Empoleon going to sack it off. He's going to go for the Protect to actually try and get more toxic damage down on this, as it makes the most sense for Gamer to go for that Dragon Dance, knowing that's coming, which means now he's got +2. So how long can World Leader stall us out for? The double comes through! Says, get out of here, Suicunes. I don't even know what you're trying to do with that moveset. And if you're taking Empoleon, I'm taking you with me. Is he going for the triple? Let's see if he actually goes for the triple Protect. That'd be amazing. It makes the most sense for Empoleon as well, trying to even get that cheese kill. If he hits it, that's a 25% chance that he actually hits the triple Protect. That's basically hitting less than an OHKO move. Makes the most sense. He's instead going to make the switch to Infernape. Actually doesn't favor the Infernape's priority, and rather would just see it die and keep the Empoleon alive. What does the Empoleon do for him? We'll have to see later on in the battle here, but Flygon's going to come in, as here is that Hoopa Unbound. Now, if this thing's Scarfed, it is going to outspeed the Flygon. Unless Flygon's Scarfed, then you have to be worried, because U-turn on this thing will destroy Hoopa Unbound. So you got to make sure this Flygon is not Scarfed itself, or you're going to be losing a lot of HP, if not all of your HP, on the Hoopa Unbound. I don't think it'll drop, but it will definitely go really low, so Flygon is not a pushover. And here it is. It has outspeed and murders the Hoopa Unbound. Ooh. That's a big Pokemon gone from Gamer, and now that puts World Leader right in the game. It puts him in Gamer's seat. He's riding that ATX 9000, whatever comfy seat. And Arizona Suicunes, I'm going to have to go sit on a little plastic chair missing a leg, because that's a huge kill for him. What's he going to make the switch into now? Cloyster could come in if it's Shell Smash, and it's just going to make its way in, seeing that even if it has Focus Sash, it's going to be fine, but the Mega Blastoise will be the best answer to this. Could just go for the Aura Sphere, bring it down to its potential Sash if it is going to be running Sash with Shell Smash. But we have seen defensive Cloyster come out of World Leader before. Is he going to make that double into the Mega Venusaur? Aura Sphere is still going to do an okay amount. I think Mega Venusaur outspeeds here. It does not, but he's going to get the Synthesis off, no problem. World Leader keeps his defense alive, and this is where we see him take advantages. And Gamer does not want to see this happen. Sludge Bomb comes through, no poison, but Flamethrower comes out, does nothing. HP Ice and Flamethrower are both showing they're not going to do anything to Mega Venusaur. This is why this Pokemon tilts me. You can't kill it without a flying move. He's going for the burn, but he's not going to get it. He is losing pressure, he's losing HP. The Heatran makes the most sense to come out on the Sludge Bomb. If World Leader saw that coming and Earthquake had happened, that would have been basically game. Basically. But now that Heatran still needs advantage, we do see that triple sword, that double switch come in. As Earthquake comes down, don't know what that would have earned him though, because with that damage, it just keeps bringing Mega Blastoise lower and lower. And oh my goodness, this is looking great for him to come through. The Ice Beam does nothing, looking for the freeze, crit, anything. The heal comes through, the Giga Drain's revealed, the full moveset is there. Forget status moves. World Leader wants to sweep with the Venusaur. Gen 1 Bulbasaur lovers unite. As he's making a statement against people like me who love Mega Blastoise the most. The Earthquake makes the most sense. 5-2. He's found the way. Can he take the move, though? You still don't want to be depleted. He misses the Fire Blast, and he goes for Sludge Bomb. No! He actually tries to predict, but there was nothing earned from it. The Earthquake would have been perfectly safe for him to go for, which now gives Heatran another chance to try and roast the Mega Venusaur. He's got to be careful. A roastage here would be game for him, but never mind. He takes the hit, no problem. Not game in terms of over. He actually is going for Synthesis. He wants to heal on this thing. He wants to win with Venusaur. He is making a statement right now. He wants to take Gamer down to the bottom and use him as a jump post. Double Fire Blast miss. Earthquake brings him super low. One more Life Orb loss will be the end of it, and Synthesis will fly out here from the Mega Venusaur. World Leader has done it. Bibweed making his way in, tanking the hits, feeling good. World Leader is online, and he's got the answers. He is ready to represent as the Golden State Greninjas. He is looking phenomenal in this series. He actually going for Earthquake, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be Electros versus the world. It's not going to be able to take out the rest of the Pokemon. He didn't go for the most optimal play, but who cares, because he's going for the win. And in the end, the win is all that matters in the Pro Pokeball and for Pokemon itself. Well played by both. But World Leader gets the drop. No poison for Salt, but no big deal. He'll have another Pokemon come in. He's not looking to preserve as many Pokemon as possible. Bring in the Flygon. Bring in the answer. GG, game number 1. Going to the Golden State Greninjas. And this brings questions. This brings enormous questions now, because we've seen what is on that Salamence. That's a tough one to commentate on, because wait. That's their music. I'm kidding. Now, there's nothing wrong with Psyche MC because it depends on what he was trying to bring it for. So let's see what he's actually trying to bring it for as the coaches go through the substitution phase in the next 5 minutes or so. Golden State Greninjas! Mega Venusaur! Screw it, I don't know if you're attacked, so I'll just go offensive Venusaur. But look at his build. I'm not going to reveal its full moveset, but Venusaur is just so hard to break when you don't have a move that's going to crush it. And Psyche MZ would crush it, but Flying EMC would crush it even harder if that's what it's there for. So what does Golden State Greninjas have that he wants to use it? The answer is nothing. He can Zen Headbutt the Infernape and kill it flat out, so it's probably a Venusaur answer. But how much is that going to do? We got to check this right now. Salamence on the Mega Venusaur. Like, if he goes for the Z move here, let's take a look at this really quickly. If he Z's it up, it is in fact at +1 a one-shot. Let me give him the +1 really quickly here. At +1, it is a guaranteed one-shot against the Mega Venusaur. So that's what he's got it for. But the problem with it is, he doesn't have the stab flying to back up and just hurt everything else. And on top of it, it's going to get resisted. You want to go for that extra stab damage. But he's stuck with Psyche and Z for game number 2. So that gives World Leader a sigh of relief a little bit, knowing that he's not going to get hurt by that Z Crystal, and he's going to be okay. A little bit better than if he'd done that, because with Flyinium Z, I'm pretty sure that if he had gone for that, if he'd gone for the Fly and he'd gone for Flyinium Z, I'm pretty sure that with a crit, I'm fairly confident that Gliscor would not be looking that great afterwards. But then the other question is, what Pokemon are there to take on that Mega Venusaur? The answer is, he doesn't bring one. He doesn't, like, he has that Psychic Z, that's all he's got. If that Lucario's not sweeping it, he's in trouble. He needs Pokemon, and now we see, and this is what I was kind of thinking about with the Tornadus ban, because Tornadus can just go for the flying, or just go for the acrobatics, and I guess destroy the Venusaur. So if we don't see Celebi come in, because we've seen the moveset, but it's Sludge Bomb, so he's got every answer on his Pokemon's moveset to answer all the Pokemon that bring super effective attacks. He's got the Earthquake for the Heatran, he's got the Giga Drain for the Mega Blastoise, he's got the Sludge Bomb for the Celebi. He's got a move on one Pokemon to handle the entire defensive core of Sarasota Suicune's, the thing that's been walling people till now. And when it gets broken through, he falls apart. The Hoop Unbound's one shot, which means that if he's one-shot it, let me just check my speed tiers here. It's a Scarf Flygon. If that's not, then it's not a Scarfed Hoop Unbound. We don't know what that's going to be. If it's Scarfed Hoop Unbound, then it's Scarf Flygon. But if it's not Scarfed, then what is the moveset on the Hoop Unbound, and why didn't it happen? The way that he kept it in made it look like his Hoop Unbound was Scarfed and ready to go for Ice Punch or something. Which means we're looking at a Scarf Flygon, if that is the assumption we can make. Or they're calling a double bluff right now. They're being the ballsiest double bluffers I've ever seen in the ProPokeBowl. Because it's a, it's a tough bluff to call. But man, that's game 1 going to World Leader, and that's going to feel great. He needs those points, and I want to see World Leader go far with this. Showing great proficiency in what he can bring with his movesets. And you know what I said? I've already said it. He comes to play against his opponent, which makes him really good during the regular season. And now, what's that going to mean coming up from there? And nonetheless, game number 2 still has to happen. We can't talk about top 6. We can't talk about anything like that until we get into this. Let's go. Golden State Greninjas up 1-0. Game number 2 coming in. We do see a Slurpuff coming in to substitute for that Electros. Going for more offensive power here. Wants to try and sweep it. Maybe seeing his way to go with it. Now, we can't make that same mistake. Can't lose Hoop Unbound that easily. Can't get walled by that Venusaur that easily. But he keeps that Psychium Z in with Salamence. Let's see what the Slurpuff could do. That Slurpuff's gonna have a little bit of problems while the Gliscor is alive, just mainly because it's not gonna be able to break through very well. Earthquake will bring it really low, because you're only gonna heal up to 25% with the likes of a Citrus Berry after going for the Unburdened Belly Drum. So, unless he goes for... No, he needs the Unburden. He can't go for Z-Crystal. Nonetheless, the Blastoise is going to lead against the Flygon. Flygon, once again, feeling super safe just to go for that U-turn, give it a pretty easy setup. We could see the exact same thing come out here, or we could actually see the Empoleon come in to make sure the Ice Beam doesn't fly off as hard onto that Mega Venusaur this time around. Because Ice Beam just makes the most sense to hit both those Pokemon. But if Empoleon comes in, maybe we see the prediction from Gamer and he just goes straight for the Aura Sphere. He loses nothing because he's not getting a ton of damage down. It's going to get Synthesis off anyways. He's going to live and then have to take a Giga Drain if he stays in and tries to go for a double attack with Blastoise. So I think he just goes for prediction here. There's a sizable weakness now I look at it on the Golden State Greninja side against the Mega Blastoise. And he worked around it quite well in Game 1. Mind games can come out here as you start to think, what are the game plans that are going to change here with that Slurpuff? You can't have it set up at the right time and finish things off. The nice thing about Slurpuff is, as good as it is, it's only going to have Play Rough, Return, and I think does it get Earthquake? I can't remember. It gets Return and Play Rough for sure. And Drain Punch, that's what it gets. So the Infernape is actually going to come in to tank up the Ice Beam. Just wanted to check to see what type of play Gamer was going to be leading off with in the battle. Of course, Empoleon would have got more pressure, but now the Venusaur is going to come in as Warbuff comes out. Okay, this is a little bit safer now for the Golden State Greninja. Just doesn't get the 20% against him either. So now the Mega's going to feel much better, and of course, Giga Drain's going to put down a lot of pressure. Salamence, once again, makes the most sense to come in, and the Giga Drain's going to happen. Now, here's the thing. World Leader knows what Z move that is, and he knows the damage calcs, as it was just said on stream. So who's taking the Psychium hit? We might just see Zen Headbutt instead, and a DD instead. So now... we saw Empoleon come in last time and Flash Cannon Alolan Ninetales. Don't tell me you don't expect that this thing could take the hit and go for the Ice Beam. The Slurpuff comes out. The Scald's going to go through. A burn on this would be horrible. And that is a maimed Slurpuff. That thing is useless now. It's over. That's not doing a thing in this battle. Drain Punch could try and do something, but that cupcake has been put into that oven for too long, and it's not going to taste great for the Sarasota Suicunes after party. Belly Drum happens. He just wants this thing sacked off. He knows it's not going to do anything. He's just going to be getting rid of it, as the rocks are also set up. So World Leader keeping a good start to this match. Looking even better this time because a lot of things have been wrecked. This Empoleon's going to be able to tank a hit and probably go for a Skull and get a lot of damage down on this. But nice thing is he can try and, if he tries to, no matter what, he's taking a lot of damage here if the Empoleon stays in. But he also can't really risk taking too much damage here because Gliscor can't do it. There aren't a lot of huge answers unless he brings in the Flygon this turn with the setup. But hey, he says, whatever, I'll go for the Scald. Gets the burn. Luckily, it's a special Lucario, so it's not that bad. However, if this +2 Aura Sphere does not kill, I'd be very surprised if it doesn't. Maybe. We'll see what kind of build the Empoleon is. But if it doesn't kill, that's another Pokemon dead. And then you have to start thinking what's going on. It does get the kill. +2 Vacuum Wave will not murder that Flygon. It shouldn't. It would be a lot of HP lost, but at least the Flygon could get rid of this thing before too much happens. At the same time, we saw how much that Mega Venusaur can take, but maybe that's the plan that Sarasota Suicunes are looking for. Get a lot of damage on that, knowing that's the answer. We'll have to see what's going on. The nice thing is that the Sugar Berry is popped. The burn should bring it down. 33%. No, it wouldn't. Actually, he'd miss the kill, and then that'd be a dead Mega Venusaur. So, I don't blame Gold Staker just thinking this one through. However, the Infernape is still around and can go for the Mach Punch. So he still has that answer at the very least. So not the worst thing in the world. For World Leader, can answer this the exact same way he answered it last time. Knew he outsped as well. So if the Mach Punch goes through, kills that off, we might even... I don't know if Gamer would even try to save this Pokemon. He can win with it, though, so maybe he does this time and goes into something like the Salamence to preserve or even the... I don't know if you want to take just extra damage more and more on the Mega Blastoise, considering that thing has to do something to Gliscor and the Mega Venusaur if needed. Or even tank the hits from Cloyster if that thing's going to set up and try and win. Mega Venusaur is going to be one to come in. Don't know if I agree with this play. He's got to remember he didn't do a lot of damage last time with this. Sugar Berry's going to tank up the same amount. Yeah, now he's got to take another hit, and he doesn't want Mega Venusaur to do it. I think the Infernape was the play there because Mach Punch would have brought this thing down. Unless there's a damage calc that we're missing. So the Gliscor is actually going to come in. Ooh, that's a lot of damage, but at least he gets the Toxic Orb, right? Yeesh. Not the cleanest decision from World Leader, but the Salamence now feels safe to just go for DD, knowing that Gliscor, you know, he can just even go for the attack and get Gliscor out of here. Gliscor was going to stop that Slurpuff, but the Slurpuff kind of stopped itself. I don't know about that one. I think there was a much cleaner play in going for that Mach Punch. That might be the slip-up the Sarasota Suicunes want to see right now for their single point this week. Let's see what's going to be going on with this now. Gliscor goes to protect. He risks the DD to happen as the Cloyster's going to make its way in. I'm assuming because it has Focus Sash, or is it going to take this thing out? He could have Ice Shard, which would one-shot the Salamence, as he has to check that with Mega Blastoise. Mega Blastoise makes the most sense. Ice Shard is revealed. Okay, so that damage is worth it on the Mega Blastoise, because now he gets that value. Might even see, I might even just see an Ice Beam fly out here, predicting the Mega Venusaur or something, because at this point, World Leader's taken so much damage that it's going to be very difficult for him to start making these switches, because Mega Blastoise still hurts his team. And it's still feeling good as he actually stays in and gets destroyed. So that's his priority answer to Salamence. World Leader not wanting to click those priority moves at the right time on this match. That could cost him this whole thing. Mega Venusaur comes in and knows it can take an Ice Beam unless he gets a crit, and he's going to go for the Synthesis or the Giga Drain. Probably the Synthesis first, considering it would be the safest, especially against the switch. Get a lot of his HP back. Mence comes in, and we see the Synthesis come out. Okay, so he keeps the safe play, gets a lot of his HP back, but we know this kills, and that's going to be a miss! He rolls the he rolls low! Oh. Actually, if I recall correctly, no, he actually rolled slightly higher than I thought he would. No, wait, no, that's against the wrong Pokemon. I think that was like, he barely was going to miss the kill. Does he miss the kill barely? I forget now. Yeah, he could have gone. He went for the absolute highest percent chance he could have killed. 90.9% was the highest that Shattered Psyche could have rolled, and it didn't roll. But nonetheless, we're going to see a U-turn here on the Mega Blastoise. He tried for it. Man. Close Combat comes out, takes out the Mega Blastoise. Hoopa Unbound comes in. This thing's scarfed, but we know Flygon scarfed her. He could just sack off the Gliscor, put pressure down. You know what? He's got enough Pokemon. He sacks off Gliscor right now. He can go in, go for the U-turn, get the Infernape in on the Heatran, and then if Heatran tries to do anything, he just has this thing try and finish it off. He does have to be a little careful, though. If he gets the damage down on Hoopa Unbound, if he gets the U-turn off on Hoopa Unbound, this could be a little bit of a mind game here. Because he knows that this thing is most likely Scarf based on the way that he played it around the Flygon. So you still need a Pokemon to switch up that Choice Scarf Flygon to be able to go for U-turn on this Pokemon and an Earthquake on Heatran. He can't get locked into another move because that's how he will drop this match. So there's a little bit of mind games here. It's not completely over for the Sarasota Suicunes. They can still try and mind game their way through this. They just have to get it in at the right time and get the right things done and make sure that World Leader locks himself into the wrong move. Because we'd have to see now how much damage Flygon does to a Hoopa Unbound. Let's see what's going to be looking like. Can't say a thing. It's Zed Headbutt. Zed Headbutt. Zed. The Canadian Headbutt comes out. Combined with Canadian Bacon. Flygon comes in. Heatran comes in now. It becomes a mind game bonanza. Does he go for the Earthquake and potentially miss the kill on this? Or does a Heatran come in and tank to hit the U-turn is the safest thing because he can just switch into the Infernape, threaten with a fighting move, and now nothing wants to take this hit. Neutral hits will bring both these Pokemon down. Super effective on the Heatran and a neutral hit on the Hoopa Unbound. It's looking bad for both of them. The Heatran's got to make sure to try and take this close combat or an Earthquake flying out for this. Close combat goes through. It takes it down, and that's World Leader's game to win. He just needs U-turn, and that's gonna be the end of it. World Leader takes 3 points in this match for this series, and he's going home happy with all the results that he's come out with this week. Well played by him. Slip-ups here from both sides. But in the end, a well-earned victory. GG. Oh, it's so good to see. It's so good to see that form. Whoops. Yeah, whatever. Let it play. It's so good to see World Leader on form that early in the tournament, because really, oh man, like, you saw the switch to the Slurpuff gets burned. He doesn't have a way to break the wall, and once World Leader gets that wall and he keeps it up, nobody's getting past it. Mega Venusaur pulling out great stops here, having a great answer to that Firewater Grass Core against the Sarasota Suicunes. And I'm sure Sarasota's going to go back to the drawing board, look at that Psychium Z and say, was it too specific? And the answer is, well, yeah, it was too specific when Flyinium Z could have been used, but the Zen Headbutt does get him value against the Infernape. Did he need it if he had Earthquake? Probably not. So, you know, we've seen this before from top players. They'll bring a move that maybe doesn't work, maybe not top 2 players, but we will see it out of some players that just bring a move and think that it would get more value than it did. But in the end, it will be Golden State Greninjas feeling confident with that 2-0 going into their next weeks from here on in. It's a great win for World Leader. GG played by both sides. Up next, it will be our featured match of the week, where you guys will be able to bet. Let me open that betting now. You'll be able to bet between the likes of the Traverse City Thunderous and I Am Groot. The prompt is in chat right now. You guys have 10 minutes to make that bet. You can bet on the results of the match. You will get a 50% payout on your Nubits. You can bet anywhere between 1 and 30,000 Nubits. And after the break, we're going to break that match down for you. See you after then. Enjoy the music. That's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here. There we go. Welcome back to the Pro Pokeball Season 5, Week 3, with our featured matchup of the week between Traverse City Thunderous and I Am Groot. This match is going to be important as both these players have shown good proficiency in the tournament thus far. Although we did see one match taken away from Sweet D, it doesn't mean that he is out of this tournament by the least. The reason why this one's a feature matchup is both these opponents have really, really good build teams, and we want to kind of highlight some of the strengths that both of them are bringing more of the defensive side on the side of I Am Groot here, with this fantastic defensive core, followed up by trying to use a Pokemon like Lycanroc or Terrakion to finish sweeping and get him through all of that. Whereas Traverse City Thunderous, successful hyper-aggressive core thus far. We haven't seen how far it can go yet. We can only assume. It can only keep going up. But he's going to have to show it today against one of those tougher opponents of the tournament, which will be in Sweet D. Now, this type of matchup, there's a lot of give and take. Both can sweep each other, pretty much, with a Suicune banned for I Am Groot, and with a Alolan Muck banned for TC Thunderous. Both of them had pretty much banned a defensive bulky Pokemon that could just do a lot of damage. The Alolan Muck made a lot of sense for the likes of anything that could stop the Suicune trying to get Poison Touch or something down like that. Also stops Serperior because that thing's going to get wrecked with a Poison Jab, or Gunk Shot, rather, and stuff like that. And on the side of the TC Thunderous, because Groot doesn't want to get hit by that stuff, so he's got to be safe with that. TC Thunderous banning Suicune. He was going to set up on. I mean, Gyarados and Volcarona don't have the most fun time dealing with a Suicune that is set up and just doesn't want to have to deal with it. I mean, they're both very powerful Pokemon on each other's teams, so I want to make sure they get those out of the way. Now, the way this is going to go, it's going to be, again, similar to what we saw last week with what World Leader was doing against Sharking. If Sharking gets his offense off at the right time, he will take this handily because he has both a physical and a special sweeper. So, depending on which one he's going to be playing with, we do expect more of the Gyarados because with that Aggron being brought in this week, Mega Aggron seems to have a lot of good value against Sweet D. So, if I Am Groot can't break through that giant defensive wall, which is most likely to be the Mega, so it can get the filter and take up all the hits, plus it can flatten a lot of offensive powers. I don't know what's going to be happening for I Am Groot to come through with this. He's got the Lycanroc and the Terrakion, though, which could still clean stuff up if he wants to go that kind of route, try and finish everything off with a lot of speed. Obviously, they both have stab and just super effective rock attacks. They're going to be taking out the sweepers. So hopefully they're going to be finding their ways in, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of supporting Pokemon to try and make sure that their wind condition will be getting in safely, because this will be a tight matchup that, similar to what we saw in the first series of today, once you lose that defensive core, it just falls apart for everything. If you don't get your game plan off, it's going to be a big deal. Although Ninetales definitely setting up here will help quite a bit with mitigating a lot of the damage or mitigating a lot of the mistakes. But otherwise, I think Mega Aggron is going to be the straw on that camel's back. And if it goes on too hard, the camel's flat. It's going to be flat like a pancake. Nonetheless, the battlers are ready. Let's get into our featured matchup of the day between Traverse City Thunderous and I Am Groot. Shh, music. Wait for me to make the transition. Ready? Oh my god, no. Don't break! Slobs broke. Oh my god. When Slobs breaks, everything's actually ruined. I'm gonna tell you that right now. When it decides not to click, I actually can't click anything. 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. We'll make it work. We're in the wrong battle, see? Told you. 'Cause it's not up. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I can't. This is actually the worst. 1 second. Nonetheless, you guys keep going with this. I just gotta get this. Is that gonna work? Yeah, we're gonna have to do it a getaway here. No big deal. Alright, TC Thunderous on the close side. I Am Groot on the far side. Let's take a look at those teams. We do see that Aggron. We do see the Gyarados as well, so that Volcarona left behind. That is the Gyarados to win. That's the condition. We gotta keep watching. Also see a Starmie and a Kabutops. A lot of interesting answers here, probably for that Blissey, but nonetheless, it is going to be the Aggron versus the Ribombee lead. Not the lead you want to see with a little bee going up against a giant behemoth. Oh, this is going to be very interesting to see how he's going to manage it. There's the Mega, as the U-turn is going to be coming out. It's just going to be a scouting Ribombee. As Blissey now comes in, and what is Blissey going to do to this thing? Probably try and get as much damage off as possible, but with the rocks coming out, I don't know if you want to see this Blissey just get flattened, but it might have something we're not seeing here. Could try and go for a wish, try and get something in kind of healthy, and then start managing this, but I don't know what's going to be going on. Serena is going to make its way in as Protect comes through. Maybe just try and scout what the Aggron's going to be using in terms of moves to attack with, but he's not going to get any of that information right now. As another Protect's going to come in, as the U-turn was going to be used by Serena, so this gives Sweet D that knowledge that he's just going to try and get the pivot switch here, which means Blissey could probably just take it up or just go into something that will take the hit. And the Crobat's going to make its way in as the U-turn does fly out. And what is the Pokemon coming into this? To handle this, probably the Alolan Raichu. Although it does have to be Psychic type. It doesn't have to worry about Poison move. Mega Aggron is going to make its way in. I mean, Crobat can't really do anything to this, but U-turn will most likely just fly out. Maybe even a taunt, depending on what's going to happen. I don't think he's going to go for taunt. Most likely just a U-turn. Keep this thing safe. As the Blissey is just going to hard switch into the Blissey as the Heavy Slam comes in. Ooh, that's a lot of damage. It's a 2-hit KO. Still trying to figure out what this Blissey wants to do. As now Mandibuzz comes in, double switch. Heavy Slam once again. Just happening. Rocky Helmet, though, shown on the Mandibuzz. That is the chip damage that I Am Groot needs to take down this Mega Aggron. Makes the most sense. Because if he can't damage it, well, might as well make it damage itself. Kabutops will make its appearance for the first time in this ProPokeBowl. As the Roost will come through. Obviously, gotta be careful as the Rock Slide comes through. It's a lot of damage. A flinch would have been terrible. Foul play, though, putting it in its place. But hey, foul play leads to some weak cracks in those armors as that double speed now happening on the Kabutops. Based on that damage, that actually probably looks banded because that's most likely a defensive Mandibuzz. And that's going to take out the Mandibuzz. And he's got to worry about double speed here. Can go into the Honchkrow, though, to threaten with that -1 defense Sucker Punch. So most likely Sharking's going to want to switch that out unless he's just willing to sack this thing off. Considering that it's taken the damage and gotten its stuff done with the likes of the double speed, I'm sure this Honchkrow is going to force it out. Or he might just keep it in, but I don't think he wants to risk even giving this thing a single Moxie boost. What is the answer for this now? Actually, you know what? This thing puts a lot of pressure down on Alolan Raichu as well, so this Pokemon's got a lot of things that it could do to Sharking's team. Now, looking at Mega Aggron's going to have to be a thing coming on this, too. Mega Aggron is literally carrying this whole team on its back and is big enough to do it. Gyarados comes in, has Intimidate, so even if it was going to sweep, it's not going to be getting Moxie boosts. Opts are a more defensive option, and it kind of makes sense from Sharking's side, considering that because Mega Aggron is so heavily relied on right now, being able to lower any damage is good damage. Terrakion making its way in ballsily as we do see that double switch into the Mega Aggron. Gotta be careful. Close combat's still gonna hurt despite the fact you have that filter. And if this thing's gonna be keeping everything together, now something's gonna have to take a giant hit. What is the answer from here, though? Like, sacrificing it, I don't know how much Heavy Slam's actually going to do to a Terrakion, but he's going to show us as he takes the damage. -1 defense comes in. Heavy Slam, sit on that horse. But the horse is sturdy enough to hold even Mega Aggron's fat ass, as that's not going to be enough damage. He cannot take more damage on this thing, because this thing was blocking everything you need to worry about. Although, maybe TC Thundurus feels safe enough now. They've done enough damage, they don't need to worry about it. Honchkrow is going to come in as we actually switch into Starmie. Starmie's going to be fast enough to put pressure down on this. Can it take a Sucker Punch, though? Does it want to take a Sucker Punch? Gyarados just comes right back to it as Night Slash going to come through. Not doing a lot. Didn't get the crit through the attack drop. That would have been a nice chunk of damage that Sweet D wanted to see. Right, Bombi now going to have to come in under the rocks. Dragon Dance comes through. That's going to make it faster than the B, unless it's a Scarf B. Scarf B is a thing. It's not, and it's no longer even a thing on this board, as it will be taken down, and Sweet D has no answers. He's been set up on, rolls over, and that's game 1. Handily going to Sharking. And that's exactly what we expected out of this entire series. It's nice edge for both of them. I don't blame him for just wanting to drop and go back to the drawing board that quickly. Because honestly, that was over. He had nothing left out. Speed, everything's gonna get one shot after rocks, and that's game. There's not enough that's gonna be coming up for Sucker Punches on that Honchkrow. So there you go. That's exactly how you win with offense. Got it in at the right time, and you know what? On the side of Sweet D, that Aggron puts him into a giant disadvantage. Just can't ram his face in and get the damage off where it's needed. Oh my god, I hate this. Okay, you gotta understand, with my slobs breaking, I can't actually switch to it. So now this is gonna get really awkward, as everything is gonna happen at 1/4 the speed it usually would. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So now, the real question becomes, for those of you who bet on 2-0 for the Traverse City Thunderous, you're looking pretty comfortable right now, but my question is, that's not where our stuff is. What does Sweet D do with this now? I mean, once that Gyarados is in and it's going, that's it. And with that defensive play, he just keeps everything down, and that's more enough. That's what he's gonna need. So, what's the Aggron killer? I don't know. Doesn't see Volcarona come out though, so like a rock, I don't think it happens. Maybe Hippowdon could take the hits, try and threaten with something along the lines of a Earthquake or something of the sort. But man, I'm thinking Gastrodon, I'm thinking all this stuff, but what Thundurus showed us, Serena's going to destroy both of those things, so he can't really do it for free. And it tanks all the hits unless he gets a burn from something along the lines of Scald on the Gastrodon. That's looking nasty for the side of Sweet D to try and figure out that puzzle. But, you know, see it in action once. Don't know what more he's really going to expect out of this match here. But hey, you know what? Kudos to Shark King finding that way in. That's exactly what we got to play with a hyper-aggressive team. He needs to get there at the right time to ensure that he gets the sweep off. Because if he falls behind, we saw it got close. Not so much in his first series, but in his second series in week 2, when World Leader would put him on the back foot, it's hard for hyper-aggressive to keep the momentum going. Hyper-aggression is all about momentum. It is all about getting the right switches, seeing 2 turns ahead, setting up, and going in. Doesn't mean it's the end for Sweet D, though. He's a very smart player. I do give him credit to be able to try and figure something out here. I don't know what he's brought in his movesets, but without being able to switch, hopefully he has a backup plan in case he saw that exact situation go on. Me thinking that he's got something else here, if he has that Rocky Helmet on Mandibuzz, he's got multiple things to try and get all that stuff going. And based on the damage that we saw from that close combat, if he plays around a little bit better, he might be able to take that out and then put himself in the advantage. So it's not over for I Am Groot. They can still keep themselves up with a point. If he wants to keep with his friends, he's got to win this one. It's going to get nasty for him, though. And he's going to need to find that answer as quick as he can. But nonetheless, they want to get into game number 2, and I'm not going to stop them because, man, oh man. This really blows when my slob stops working. Oh, did it work? Ah, it's working! Yes! We're safe! Awesome. Pogs. Or something. Yes. Thank you. Damn you. Damn you. Damn you, slobs. Why do I give you credit? Alright. Are you gonna let me... Okay. Just don't mess with it. Guys, don't worry. Wait for it. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. You ready for this? Wait. Holding. Where's their team? Holding. Is it gonna work? It didn't work. God. Wait. Holding. We're good. We're still good. Yeah, it's broken until I reset stream. That's not happening. We're just getting into battles. I like Pokemon. Do you like Pokemon? I love Pokemon. Look at that side of Sweet D. Bringing in the Superior, bringing in the Hippowdon. That chip damage is not going to help him today against the Mega Aggron, but we don't see any switches at all, and there's a lot of lag with all of this animation on the screen right now. That is not my stream. That is not your screen. That is just the battles. TC Thunderous up 1-0. Looking to make it a 2-0. Uh-oh. What did I do? Don't. There we go. Awesome, thanks. As Serena is going to lead off against that Hippowdon. Not a great start again for Sweet D. Gotta worry about it. That's not your battle. There's your battle. Nonetheless, Mandibuzz will come in. The nice thing is the knockoff actually, ooh, well played here by Shark King, meaning that Rocky Helmet chip damage is not even going to matter for Mega Aggron anymore. But it does do a decent chunk at least. It's something. Something is all you can hope for in this situation. The more damage, the better, but the more advantages you can take for the side of TC Thunderous to keep that Mega Aggron feeling better, the better. He's still got a Pokemon that'll handle all these Pokemon that are going to try and handle Mega Aggron. We already got to think, with that Rocky Helmet gone, that's one less answer, however small it is, it's one less answer to get that damage down on the Aggron. The Aggron feels okay right now. Comes in, Foul Play does nothing, because Aggron is super bulky, Mega or not. Here he comes. I had to make the joke. I'm so sorry. But here we go. Mega comes in. The foul play is going to come through. Actually, slightly more, as the rocks will be set up. But this is a defogging Pokemon, so I don't know if that's going to get him the value he's necessarily looking for right now. Maybe it forces him to take damage and then also forces him to kind of stay in and just waste more of the sand. The defog will indeed come through as the Toxic comes down onto the Mana Buzz. This is a nice way to chip this down, considering it also doesn't have leftovers. It's not going to offshoot that first turn of leftovers, as the Rocks now comes back down, knowing that Sweet D needs to keep that thing healthy, because it is a defensive poke that's going to help him against that man, or hopefully help him against that Gyarados in the future. But it is going to be maimed for a little bit. We can expect, though, an Aromatherapy or Heal Bell on that Blissey. So not the complete end here for I Am Groot, and it's actually looking slightly better for him, despite the fact that Mega's still gotten in here. It's only an item lost, and now it's damage being dealt down, so Thundurus being put a little bit more behind than what we saw before. But Starmie is going to most likely scare out this Hippowdon. Unfortunately, got it in a turn too early to get that sand back up. Blissey will be the switch, which makes the most sense. Scald Burn won't matter on this thing, most likely carrying Natural Cure / Aromatherapy. You can probably actually see that Heal Bell or Aromatherapy happen through as the Toxic comes out. As Sizotos just going to bring this thing down. And you know what? I kind of like this play a little bit better. Knows that Mana Buzz is still pretty healthy, still going to be feeling okay. But here's the thing. You get chip damage down on the side of TC Thundurus, you get your Pokemon into sweep, and everything is going to be weak enough to just die to one move. I don't remember exactly what that Terrakion had, but if it's carrying something like a Scarf, it's gonna be looking pretty bad. Did we see its move? We did not see its item. But if it's carrying a Scarf, that's gonna be pretty good. And the Leaf Storm does come out. There's the +2. And if it's a Scarf Serena, this is the time to show that, because that's a Serperior setting up, and this is a fear. Even though he's got Mega Egg on it, this thing starts getting a +6. Nothing looks tanky. Once Serperior starts doing its thing, we gotta be careful. A +2 Leaf Storm will kill off Serena. So does Serena have an answer? The answer is no! That is a Scarf Serperior? What? Oh! Uh-oh. Oh, that's a free setup now. He's at triple, and that means Mega Aggron has to be the one to take the hit. But can it take a +4? Most likely, what does it go for? It goes for HP Fire. Is it +4 HP Fire? Does it take this thing out? Because if it does, that should just be game. Because everything else just dies the Leaf Storm. Oh no, it goes for it, he misses the kill! He doesn't actually get it! And the Heavy Slam will not take out, that might just be it! If he doesn't have Aqua Jet, enough damage coming out from that Kabutops, that's just game, that's +6, and that's not enough for him to hold on to take a hit. It's kill or be killed. You know what, he might even feel safer to come in later and just keep this thing safe and try and sweep once this thing's handled. Potentially, he's got his whole team. I don't think he has to worry too much. Yeah, +6 looks great. But if he feels okay with just going for the likes of a Scarf Leaf Storm later, everything except, well, yeah, he wants to do it on one of the two water types that's not Gyarados. But maybe he does just stay in here, takes the risk that Aqua Jet won't kill. If Aqua Jet is here, this could be a bluff from TC Thundurus. But if he misses this, it's over. He's got nothing for it. Everything's just going to die. Because it is the fastest Pokemon in this entire game right now with that Scarf. As long as he doesn't miss. If he misses, it's horrible. If he misses Leaf Storm, this is Sweet D. He's known to miss at really good times. He does indeed just make that switch to check as the Aqua Jet is revealed. That Banded Aqua Jet could have done enough damage, but now it's definitely going to do damage if he tries to bring it in later. He's going to have to get the Defog out first, though, because maybe he knows with the Defog that Serperior can come in, take an Aqua Jet, and then proceed to sweep. If it gets in safely, the Defog will indeed come out. Rocks are gone forever, which means Serperior, 17% for life. We'll have to check how much that Kabutops can do, but not at this time, as Grass Knot actually happens from a lone Raichu, but does show its life orb, so at least it's still flexible. But it does mean that, since this thing is a Scar, we're not going to be seeing any more faster Pokemon than that Serperior. So Serperior can be going for something. I do expect just a straight Seismic Toss happening here. Yep, damage is good damage, knowing Serperior wins, so what is his way to catch it off guard? Because I don't even know what Starmie wants to do in here against this Blissey. I don't know why he keeps coming in. I guess it's the only Pokemon that could really take the damage at this point. Because maybe he's waiting for Blissey to die so Gyarados could try and come in and sweep. But he needs +2 with DD. Goes for the Toxic, as the Stealth Rocks are set up. That might just guarantee a +2 Superior kills off that Gyarados. Potentially. Natural Cure happens. Honchkrow comes in. Rapid Spin comes through as well, though, so the Rocks are going to be gotten rid of. But Honchkrow does now threaten this thing. If it doesn't die from an Ice Beam or a Thunderbolt, Knockoff will kill this thing off, but also Sucker Punch puts down the pressure. This is a good way for Groot to come in. This is his answer. He's got the advantage. It's not completely over Sharking, but he's definitely on the back foot. And this is what happens when aggression falls to the wayside, or when your aggression just doesn't beat a single Pokemon that has to outspeed you and sweep at the same rate. Because that's not just any sweeper with a Scarf, that's a sweeper with a Scarf and Contrary. Contrary actually reverses stat changes, so -2 becomes +2. That's what Lee Storm does for Serperior. Makes it really strong, and Gyarados has to come in. The Hippowdon, ooh, okay. So, most likely Whirlwind is on this Hippowdon, and you're going to see it used right now, because this is the time that the Thundurus needed to start setting up. But with Hippowdon, I think he could take actually a +1 Waterfall, even if it was to go that far. And he's just going to make that switch to the Scarf Terrakion. This is smart, but the taunt comes in. Uh-oh. The taunt is not what you needed right now. Oh boy. The taunt is not what they needed to use right now, because that Terrakion now puts even more damage down. It might just be the end of it. Stone Edge comes in. That's a lot of damage. The Weak Armor does come through, which should make this Pokemon faster now, I think. It might make it just barely faster than the Terrakion with that +2 speed. But the nice thing is, with the +2 speed, with that band, he can lock himself into something which can put down damage on everything. Which means if he goes, that's his one time, but if he goes for... Because here's the thing, what he's basically relying on is he's going to be able to go for Liquidation, but because Honchkrow exists, he has to worry about Sucker Punch still. So, yeah, this is great, but priority is here, and now he's just lost that one opportunity because there's a very low chance he's going to be taking enough damage to get that Weak Armor off again. So it looks good, and he kind of takes all of these great ideas, and it makes sense, but unfortunately the priority is going to be kind of the Cincher that's going to stop all this from happening. Gyarados now has to come in, and Sucker Punch is used, so Gyarados feeling safe. No Sand either to get any chip damage down onto this defensive Gyarados, and the Intimidate is also going to mean not a lot of damage is going to come out from Night Slash, unless you get the crit. Terrakion has to come in. The DD comes out, but once again, Terrakion is faster. So what he's trying to do right now, if he had predicted this happening again, he should have just attacked, try to get the damage down on this thing, but even then, he needed to try and go for the sweep. Maybe he just relies on the Stone Edge miss? With a Stone Edge miss, that might do it, though. He might be able to do it if he takes that 20% chance. That would be ridiculous if he actually gets that, because that would most likely, if not be the game. The Stone Edge comes out, it kills the Terrakion, and that's probably the last thing that you could have seen from the Traverse City Thundurus do. Starmie comes in, Groot pulling it back, not losing all of his things in 1 week. Unfortunate, he did go for the 20%. It was his best play to stay in there. Aqua Jet comes through. Doesn't even do enough to bring him low enough to make himself feel comfortable. And it's going to be the Alolan Raichu versus the world. And that is going to be it. Sweetie pulling it back, making it a 1-1 on the week. GG. And that is indeed the best way it's going to get. That's what he had to see. Superior. Oh, man. Scarf Superior, though. Scarf Superior. This is why you never count it out. Pokemon's a great thing, but even then, TC's Thundurus weren't out unless they missed that Stone Edge. So, you know, anything can happen, and that's the whole idea. Let's take a look at who actually won the bets. One person bet on a tie, and that winner is going to get their points right now. Oh, what happened? There we go. Who actually won that? Gamma bet on a tie. What a masterful man. Probably not on time, Mitch. But you know what? Nonetheless, that's pretty much the best example that we're going to get when it comes down to what ends up happening when you see Sharking be ahead and then at the same time when Shark King falls behind on the offense, right? Yes, Sweet Tea was on the back for that whole time. That's Scarf Superior, though, coming in clutch, and that is just going to mean that it's done, right? It's outsped his entire team. Shark King had to get up to +2 with that Gyarados. Everything that was done in that match made the most sense for them to try and just get those advantages. A fantastic series coming out from our featured match of the week. But, you know, it's the way it goes, and Sweet Tea having that pocket play where he could just bring something like that and just try and barely bring it back. It is 1 point for both of them, and that's not necessarily what Sweet Tea wants to see already this late into the season. Yeah, week 3, it is actually late in the season. Every week is late into the season. Remember that, it's ProPokeBowl. It goes as fast as you blink. But nonetheless, we're not done tonight. We have one more match for you tonight. The match between the Manchester Manectric and Lunar Cresselias. We'll see you after the break. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon. Welcome back to the Pro Pokeball Season 5, Week 3, for our final matchup of the day between the Manchester Manectric and Lunar Cresselia. Manchester Manectric coming off a bit of a rough patch in week number 2 as I am Groot to take them down to 0. But Ivan did show a lot of great resilience. We did see some moves that you would see from Ivan in terms of the moveset building, and also that pattern of when defense falls, Ivan falls, when the defense stays strong, similar to what we saw with Gamer today. You know, the offense stays strong. And if you go that direction, when we've already seen that defensive cores are going to be what's going to cause a lot of pain and torture for people who aren't going to be able to win those, you know, that's going to be pretty indicative today, because Lunar Cresselia's Tyler Poke Trainer's debut into the Pro Pokeball looked fantastic. Taking a 2-0 in Week 2. Built a fairly solid team that just kind of found his way in to get those really good hits off between the Shaman, the Incineroar. Like, he just used all of his Pokemon at great effectiveness, even made a couple of switches. Still, in the end, that Shaman was really hard for them to answer. And of course, that Mega Pidgeot showing why Mega Pidgeot has found its way back up into UU. Very obnoxious Pokemon with no guard and Stab Hurricane that'll never miss, as well as the Heat Wave, U-Turn, HP, whatever you want to use on it. The thing carries a decent amount of moves to be scary enough for you to have to consider how much damage you're going to be taking from its Hurricanes. But it has been banned this week, and once again, Kieran Black has been banned on the side of the Manchester Manectric. I don't think we're ever going to see this Pokemon coming out from Ivan. Really, there's not much more to have to ban, because it seems like Ivan's team is particularly mortal when the likes of Kieran Black is not around, but we're never going to know because Kieran Black's never been used, so yeah, what am I going to say to that? But let's break this one down. I actually was looking at a couple of Pokemon that might be able to do a couple of different things to be able to set up and sweep, because I don't think the concern of the Shaman is going to be as much as it was in Week 2. But with that Mega Pidgeot gone, Mega Manectric can make its way onto the field. Mega Manectric does handle the Alomomola and Togekiss decently enough to be able to Volt Switch all over them, and Stakataka is not your ground switch in. And here's the other thing too, if Nidoqueen is your ground switch in, you do have to worry about a couple of Pokemon that can put a lot of damage down on it, particularly Seismitoad with Earth Power, Earthquake, Scald, Hydro Pump, whichever version you run. It's going to be doing damage. So I actually think Lunar Cresselia has a fair amount of Pokemon to manage the defensive core that Manchester Manectric could be bringing today. I don't know if they'll switch up. Maybe bring the Roselia. You might have to see Roselia come in. Mega Man can't do much to it except with Overheat, which is a lot, but still, can't use its main strategy to deal with it. Shaman would have to use Air Slash, or maybe even like Zen Headbutt, and then you have to find other ways to get with it. But I mean, at this point, the defensive core, it's going to come down to whether or not Ivan actually has a real sweeper day. I think Sticky Web's going to be very important for him. Get that Galvantula more value than what we saw in Week 2. He built it correctly. He didn't get to do much, but I think Galvantula is particularly important for the likes of Ivan to be able to manage these Pokemon down, but Sticky Web to slow them all down. Zygarde 10%, I actually feel like could do a decent amount of sweeping with a couple of Pokemon removed. I honestly don't know how to feel about the Necrozma. Yes, he's running defensive Necrozma, and it has rocks, yeah, here and there. Maybe he brings it to be able to be like a special defensive wall, or I don't know, like, the Necrozma has been important. Like, you could say every Pokemon that's been seen on Ivan has been important, but that's because when you say it's important, it's either been a win or like a big loss. So he's either like done really well or he's fallen really flat. So where do we go with that? Like, what is our answer to that? And the answer is, I mean, I don't know. It's going to be, I think, important with the Pokemon that he brings, with that Manchester Manectric brings. They have to bring enough to be able to take hits and then deliver them back. So if he's gonna bring Nidoqueen, I'm hoping it's carrying Sludge Wave. You know, if he's bringing something along the Stakataka, like bring the Stone Edge, bring the Gyro Ball, get all the damage down on the Lunar Cresselias, because the moment that the Pokemon that have so much free damage, like Mega Man gets free damage, Shaman gets free damage, the amount of power that they all just bring is ridiculous. Mega Pidgeot was let through would be very scary. So if that type of free damage comes through, expect a world of pain for Ivan. But if it doesn't come through, we've seen what happens when he can wear people down with his super annoying comp between the regenerating Alomomola and the, where's his other regenerator? He has two regenerators, Mienshao. If he can keep doing that switching and then get his Pokemon in at the right time, he wins. He should be able to win. And with that sticky web, it would mean that things like Mienshao, Zygarde 10% could do a lot better job. Even then, things like if he's running along the lines of an offensive Togekiss, or that Nidoqueen, right? Suddenly their speed tiers become a lot more closer or higher, and therefore he just starts killing everything off. Ivan is just loading into the battle now, so please give him a moment, and I'm sure they'll be getting into the battle within the next 30 seconds or so. Let's import those slots. I'm interested to see this. We did kind of preface this by saying that I kind of feel like Lunar Cresselia's, like, Coach Tyler is similar to what Ivan looked like the first time that he entered the Pro Pokeball, where you saw the team and he looked really impressive over time. He's just getting better and better with his own way of doing it, getting a lot of value out of his draft, and just wanting to make it up there. You still see more, like, you can still see he's doing really, really well. And you could see it slip against higher players, but I mean, that's what we also see with the likes of Ivan. He's really, really good against the middle of the pack and below, but when it comes to the higher end, still trying to get his #1 way in, despite being a Pro Pokeball Season 2 champion, right? We've seen that he's definitely been called in playoffs. Doesn't mean he can't do it, though. They still, both of them, have phenomenal skill that is upcoming and is making history in Pro Pokeball. Ivan, of course, being one of the most one of the most experienced in Pro Pokeballs. I think he's been in every single Pro Pokeball minus the celebrity ones, so let's see what he can offer. They are telling me that they are getting in now, so please give him a moment here. In the meantime, thank you very much for everyone who's participated in the feature match of the week, as well as who's been here the entire night. I'm glad that we were able to put this on for you. This is a community event that is open to everybody yearly, right? We do have a sign-in process, and it is a little bit of work, but for these coaches, they deserve a big round of applause because there's a lot of time investment that they have to put in to be here weekly, producing content with me, and you know, it's a phenomenal ride. We get to just share in it and just have a lot of fun with it, and we don't discriminate with skill level. We don't worry until it gets enormous. We're not discriminating with skill level or anything like that. We make it free because this is the way we give back to the Nooblets and everybody here, because this is our roots. We started as a competitive scene here, pseudo-competitive, but it's always been part of the history of Pro Pokenoob, so thank you very much for all of you joining me. It's always a pleasure to be able to commentate this stuff. Wouldn't be doing it any other way, let's put it that way. It would be really sad, actually, if I didn't get to commentate over anything. I don't know what I'd do with that. Like, without commentary, I don't know what I'd have to do with my voice to make it valuable. So, nothing but absolutely blessed. Absolutely blessed. Yeah, Suwako, you don't want me singing. Not a freaking chance. Tyler Poke and the likes of... Let's just quickly go... Hold on. Ray, here we go. Boop, 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 boop. No, Boop, boop, boop. There we go. Just wanted to reset that. Go back to this. I don't know how people... Is it XSplit that you can change your scenes before switching over to said scenes? Can you change your scenes? I just never realize that. Is that a thing I can do? Or is it just slobs you have to switch the scene to fix stuff? I'd love to be able to do stuff behind the scenes to make that happen. You should be able to? Really? I'm gonna need someone to show me that. I should just look it up, but you know, I like talking to people when I like to learn things. I'm a dependent person on education. I've always been a person who learns from others. Reading by myself, I can do it. I just don't like doing it. I think it's more of a I prefer to mode name. Is it like if I right-click create scene projector? Or is it... we'll figure it out later. Because that would be super useful for me, because I can make it even cleaner of a show. Because that's the one thing that I have problems with, is when I want to switch scenes like this, I want to have things set up to where they were. And I do a pretty good job with it. It's just, I want to have that thing set up to make it look like it's truly set up. Or if I want to set up things for Nuzlocke and stuff like that. Keep in mind, guys, this is the last stream of today. Or, sorry, of this week. So you won't be seeing me until next week. We'll save all of our Galar conversations for Discord as well as next streams, because we gotta talk about that one dapper Galarian Weezing. Oh my god. So good. No, I wasn't, Zeno. I'm just really fast with my hands. New trailer was phenomenal. I'll reserve my opinions for when I look a little more into it, but honestly, not disappointed with everything I'm seeing. Definitely not. Very happy to see old mechanics come back and still feel really great. Alright, guys, and girls, and everybody, whoever's here, it's time. Wait, we've already heard that one. There we go! Last series of the night. Lunar Cresselia versus Manchester Manectric. Lunar Cresselia on the close side. Manchester Manectric on the far side. That's a different defensive core. We don't see the stack attacker. We see the little flower come out here looking to make its namesake. What is it? Oh my god, we already have the wow, that's really fast emote work. Astounding. What do we got here? We got Roselia making an appearance. We got Sizetoad coming out right away. Sylveon also coming in with that Excadrill and that Gligar. A different look for these teams. Still the Mega that you expect from the side of Lunar Cresselia's. So either way, still got that same strat where he's got that fast Mega that's going to be able to put down a lot of pressure if the Pokemon can't take the hits. But it is going to be that Excadrill leading off against the Roselia. Roselia here to check to see what's going to be going on. It looks so graceful, but it doesn't mean it can take a lot from people. Although, I think it sports like base 100 defense or something stupid. It's got like a really stupid random stat on it. I can't remember if it's special attack or whatever. But it sports a really dumb random stat you wouldn't expect on this thing. Like, you just be like, oh yeah, you know, it's Sun Curtain level, maybe like slightly bigger than Sun. No, this thing's got some stat that's just kind of silly. Somewhere to Shelmet. So let's see what's going to be the answer. What are the win conditions? We might actually see that DD Zygarde 10% come in to try and win this. Because it does actually dumpster a lot of that team once the Shaman and the Seismitoad is out of the way. So, I mean, Sylveon also, like, once he gets a lot of damage down, he should be able to sweep it no matter what. But once Shaman's out of the way, I think he's going to be feeling the most comfortable to sweep with that. And does he have an answer for it? The Togekiss probably going to have to come in on that Shaman nonstop. Makes the most sense. But let's see what's going to be happening here for the plan of Lunar Cresselia's, because getting those walls down, like the Alomomola is going to be handled by the Shaman, no problem. Manectric can also come in on 2 of those 3 defensive walls here. Also threatens with the overheat, so the Mega Man going to be doing a fair amount, but I guess if you have to choose between Mega Man and Mega Pidgeot, Mega Pidgeot's Hurricane becomes a lot more obnoxious. And you can still, the worst part is you can still technically, it's not the best, but you can still technically run Manectric with Mega Pidgeot. That Earthquake comes through, and that does a lot of damage. The Giga Drain comes back down. You maybe would have thought that it would have been some kind of... Maybe would expect that there would be some kind of hazard setup here from the Roselia, as it does get access to both Spike and Toxic Spikes. But instead... excuse me. Instead, just goes for the attack. Manectric does come in as we actually see the Alomomola switch it too. Ooh. Now, we did see Excadrill not go for rocks, just go for Earthquake. So, don't know what that Excadrill wants to accomplish later. It just goes for the damage. Maybe it felt a little too unsafe, didn't want to take that much damage. Also didn't see any healing on that thingamajig. But the HP Ice is going to go through. That took nothing from HP Ice, so that's going to probably say this thing is Assault Vest. And the fact that Nidoqueen switched in, maybe... Well, I mean, he wanted to switch in anyways to take the hit, but that did absolutely nothing to it. So that is... Assault Vest Nidoqueen. Gotta be. Can't think of what else it would be. Mega Man has to switch, though. Seismitoad makes the most sense. Ice Beam comes through. If he gets the freeze, it'd be really cheesy to start this match off. Doesn't happen. Now, luckily, if Seismitoad's actually carrying Earthquake, it will bypass that Assault Vest. It could always have that option. Scald, yes, it's still okay, but if you want to avoid getting damage tanked up from it, Earthquake will do a sizable chunk to Nidoqueen, regardless of how bulky it actually is, which it is fairly bulky, so. Still too early to see what both players want to do. This could be a sweeping Seismitoad as well, and frankly, if you look at the side of the Manchester Manectric, if you get that Alomomola down, and depending on how much damage Togekiss has, you could see this thing finish off the rest of the team. With Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Earth Power, whatever it wants to use, Earthquake. It could actually sweep with a Rain Dance. Don't think it's going to happen. I feel like Seismitoad is one of his... I mean, he could have rocks on his Gligar, or his Excadrill too. Seismitoad's a fairly flexible Pokemon on both the attack and special attack spectrum, and it could also be a setup poke. So there you go, you got your defensive Seismitoad. The nice thing about Seismitoad is it could also exchange Toxics, which would be, I think, in my opinion, much more value for Lunar Cresselia, but he misses the Toxic as the Wish comes out for free. Doesn't even get status back. I don't know what that Wish is going to do for him, Ivan. But nonetheless, he doesn't have to worry too much. Not punished for making that play. Mega Man will have to come in, as we do see a Toxic now dropped on Mega Man. Any damage on Mega Man is good damage. We know that that this Pokemon is going to be a slight thorn in the Manchester Manectric's side. So, slow damage here and there, but Volt Switch can get him out. It actually just makes a hard double switch into the Excadrill, which could have been... I don't know. I mean, it's not a big deal because you wouldn't expect Alomomola to stay in and go for Scald. As Volt Switch would have meant that Excadrill would have taken a hit, but he's going to go for the Earthquake. He's kind of just scouting how much damage he's doing. That's a lot of damage back, though, and the burn, which means this Excadrill is maimed. If it's got Spin, that's all the value it's going to get out of it now, but it's doing no damage. That was an odd play, or an odd check by Lunar Cresselia's. The Psystone is going to make its way back in, and the Toxic flies out, so, I mean, Shaman would make the most sense here. Natural Cure and doesn't care about Scald for the burn, but I guess, you know, maybe he's overthinking this. It could be a bit of an oversight here, because Shaman does just come in. If he's worried about the Togekiss, he could easily bait out that Togekiss and then double switch again into the Mega Man. Try and get that value, because Protect is going to come in. Toxic does try to come down and get that Alomomola pressured, but... you know, he's not going to have it right now, and, you know, he's just going to make the switch out from Alomomola. He doesn't have to worry about it. Roselia could even come back in on the side, so it's got to worry about Giga Drain, so, yeah. Let's see, a bit of momentum lost here by Lunar Cresselia's, but it's not the end of the world. Little damage here and there, a couple of Pokemon Poison never killed anybody. Cyanide doesn't end Pokemon games. Cyanide progressing beyond imagination ends Pokemon games. And we're not there yet. We're human. We don't have to worry about it until it's a problem. Then we all just perish. That's depressing. Nonetheless. Luckily, it's a digital game, and none of us are affected by the death of these Pokemon. We're going to go with that. Here we go. Roselia's actually going to make its way in. Makes the most sense. Taking a lot of damage, and it is an Eviolite user, so it's not going to be healing unless it goes for Synthesis. Could go for Synthesis if it's carrying it, because this thing can carry Sleep Powder, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, Giga Drain, which we've already seen. Could go for Sludge Bomb if it wanted to. It can rest because it has Natural Cure. It could also carry Poison Point, but most likely Natural Cure because you can actually rest, switch it out, and get the full heal, similar to what Shaman can do. But Mega Man will be its answer once again as Giga Drain comes in, and I think Ivan is going to be super happy with that, because once again, there might be Wish Passing on the side of Sylveon, but the more damage, if that's not the case, the better. Flamethrower comes out. Is Flamethrower not Overheat? Fine choice if he wants to actually keep Mega Man in for much longer just to get more damage out, not lose a special attack from Overheat. Considering that, at this point, the only thing he would be hitting with Flamethrower is that Roselia. There's no point in losing all of your special defense or special attack over that. But now Mega Man's going to need a heal, and if Sylveon is the nurse, man, we need that nurse loving real quick, because it's not looking great for him. This is a Pokemon that does threaten the big portion, if not the entire defensive core, minus Nidoqueen, of Manchester Manectric. Now, definitely just looking ahead to Game 2, I don't think we'll see the same play from that Excadrill checking the damage on the Alomomola, because now he knows and sees how much damage it is doing. I mean, you could just assume and use damage calc, stuff like that, but some people like to learn within battles. So in Game 2, I don't expect that Excadrill to get put in the same position. I don't actually expect a lot of these checks to be made the same way, because Shaman right now is being incredibly underused, especially during that time with the Alomomola coming in. So I'm curious to see if Shaman will come in, or that might denote what type of moveset it is. If it's more of a defensive Shaman, which would be odd, in my opinion. I don't know, but right now, all this damage is just getting soaked up by this giant-ass fish. And now the Wish will come out, but the Toxic is laid. So this is what you wanted to see for Lunar Cresselia, is the Alomomola being put on a timer. Even if it's not going to happen right away, you need that timer going through, and that is a Wish Sylveon. But the problem is, because Nidoqueen comes in, it's a great switch by Ivan. You can't risk Mega Manectric coming in to heal when Earth Power is omnipresent from the Nidoqueen. He's going to check it with that Excadrill, and lo and behold, Ivan makes the standard play and takes out that Excadrill. Wish wasted. I was trying to make an alliteration with Wish wasted, Lunar's debated, but yeah, it's not going to work. Either way, Nidoqueen gets the value. Excuse me. Now Shaman comes in. Do have to be careful of Sludge Wave, though. Or Sludge Bomb, or whatever that this thing's running for a poison attack. Like I mentioned, gotta be very careful of that poison attack, because that did nothing. Absolutely nothing. That Assault Vest soaking up everything. Shaman wasted. And this is not looking good for Lunar Cresselia. Almost looks a bit disoriented here with that giant love fish. Didn't know exactly how to play around it in this game. But that special defense drop is cool. Might mean HP Ice will have a chance to do, I don't know, 40% now as opposed to 20. If you pay attention to damage calcs, it's not going to be that phenomenal here. But Lunar Cresselia are already on the ropes. This might be a wait for game 2 situation because, you know, don't know much more to say. Other than there was a lot of potential for that Alomomola just be played in and say, hi, Alomomola, meet my little Chia Pet. My Chia Pet says hi to your fish. Chia Pet beats fish. Pretty simple game, but he's gonna check the HP power. Does indeed see that 40%. Mega Man is down, and now it's down to these 2 Pokemon that can't necessarily sweep by themselves. As Ivan looking great to take his point. At least one matchup. We'll see what happens in game number 2, but at this time, it's looking great for the side of Manchester Manectric. Doesn't get the 6-0, but who cares about 6-0s? Purple Coffin Man. What a nickname. Absol will come in now. Absol, I'm surprised actually the Sylveon, or sorry, the Alomomola didn't come in, because then if you think Sylveon's coming in, you can just go for Scald anyways. But then again, if you also think that you don't want to risk it because this thing is most likely running immunity, then, you know, you can just poison the Sylveon. I don't know what Absol can actually do to a Gligar, though, because it usually runs moves that are not super effective against this particular typing. As the Mega will come through, and Knockoff is used to get rid of its Eviolite, which makes sense. That's a lot of damage going to be dealt back. It's not a big deal, because, you know, it's only Sylveon and Gligar left. If this was anything else, I'm sorry. You know, it is an Absol, and Absol does learn everything for some stupid reason. That's... okay. You know, it does learn Fire Blast. Why didn't I see that coming? Nonetheless, he does have the Ice Beam. The Wish comes out. It's Sylveon versus the world. He can go for Pixelate Hyper Voice here to take out Absol and heal off. But, you know, it's, that's looking pretty close to the end here for the likes of Lunar Cresselia in Game 1. Score's looking a little too precious here. Although, to be fair, actually, like, this thing can... Sylveon can still tank up and fight everything else because Hyper Voice will do a lot of damage to the rest of the Pokemon. You have the Toxic on the Alomomola. So if it was able to hold its own and be as fat as an Alomomola and put down a lot of pressure, it'd be pretty good. But hey, the damage isn't going to kill off Sylveon, so it does get its healing. And this is Lunar Cresselia saying, I'm not done. It's just going to take a lot longer for you to try and win. Togekiss most likely coming in, trying to hack this thing out. Makes the most sense. Roselia, if it's carrying a poison move, can come in and put down a lot of damage. Zygarde wants to come in. I don't know what it can just go for. Oh, okay. Never mind. Let it just go for Tectonic Rage. Wreck it. Remind me that Z Crystals are a thing, and that's damage that you're going to have to remember for next time. But Game 1, going to Manchester Manectric. And you know, that game looked a little too straightforward for Ivan, all things considered. Considering that, you know, I would want to see this exact same match. I want to see the exact same match with the exact same Pokemon, but I want to see that Shaman used differently. I want to see it actually used on the Alomomola, right? Felt like maybe not paying attention and giving value to that Assault Vest, because it has to be an Assault Vest Nidoqueen. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense otherwise, because it's too bulky for it not to be. And when you know that it has the coverage to wreck your Mega Manectric, your Shaman, your special attackers, you need to find something to get in there. I mean, you could have sent in Gligar in to manage. You have to worry about Ice Beam, but I feel like there was a lot that wasn't shown from the side of Tyler to try and grab advantages. However, scouting in Game 1, if he feels comfortable with his points, maybe he has all this information for Game 2, so it's not the end for him. But hey, you know what? Great play here from Manchester Manectric, bringing a very strong team that brought the damage. Although, to be fair, the damage was given to him a little too easily, so it's kind of hard to really rank to see what he was going to be able to pull off with. He's on break today. Because you want to see Mega Man do a little more on the walls, flex on the walls a little more, get that flamethrower off on the Roselia. You wanted to see Mega Man have to switch around, try and find the damage, try and find that sweep, and in the end, both just kind of roll over and just part ways with, okay, Nidoqueen will get a bunch of free kills because we're not playing around the Assault Vest. So, hard to tell. Kind of just want to see a redo from both of them if it was my call personally. But who knows? It's kind of difficult to say. I really think that what he's brought could be... I mean, the Assault Vest Nidoqueen is a big deal. So if Lunar Crystalias want to play around that, the Gligar got to check for that Ice Beam. We didn't get to see Ice Beam on it. We only saw Sludge Wave and Earth Power. So you have to assume it has to be 4 attacks because it's Assault Vest. So what actually takes that on? Miltank has Earthquake. Earthquake Excadrill would be a good answer for it if he's able to take it out, because we don't know what exactly he is. The way he was playing it, all we know is there's no Life Orb, and we didn't see Lumberry, which we were going to see. It could be Z-Crystal. It could be Assault Vest. We don't know, right? There's a lot of question marks around the Excadrill, but I'm fairly confident we're not going to see the same things that happened on that Alomomola and around that Nidoqueen, so... Not too sure. Hey, Snowbear, congrats on top 5. Thanks for that host, Suwako. Let's take a quick moment here to recognize all the people that have been... What have I missed? I think I got everybody's subs. For some reason, this doesn't want to show me everything that's happened tonight in terms of subs. I don't know why. Are you still connected? Is that... Hey, you're still connected. Why are you being so slow on the release here, buddy? Either way, thank you everyone who's been supporting tonight. Throat is not doing that great, so explaining less. There's not really much to explain. We need to re-see that. We need to rewatch that battle, and we need to see the plays go differently, right? Although, to be fair, this week seems to be the most clinical to break down thus far. I feel like we have the best understanding of what were the win conditions, what were costing people games. So that's not too bad. That feels good. Feels great when we're able to do that. So let's see if that stays true, though, as we get to game number 2, the last game of the night. A sad time for everybody. But, you know, not the end time for everybody. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Let's get into it. We already heard that song. Yeah, sure, let's stick to Gen 4. Last game of the night. Lunar Cresselia is looking to take their point in the week. Manchester Manetrix saying, I want 3 points. And that is a lot different here from the side of Lunar Cresselia. You got the Miltank? I was just kidding, but the Tyrantrum, also something that slipped under my radar somehow, comes in. That does carry a lot of good moves to break these walls. That will actually destroy the likes of Togekiss, and it might do a good amount of damage with this Choice Band, unless the Miltank's going to lead against the Roselia. If it's Sap Sipper, it laughs at Roselia because not much is going to be happening here. No Sleep Powder, no Giga Drain, just hazards if we're going to see them. So what is this going to look like for him? I assume just an exchange of hazards, or we're going to see Manchester Manetrix switch. The Defogger would have to be on Togekiss. So if it gets in before it rocks, it'll be fine. Puts the pressure down on Miltank. Could carry Aura Sphere. We have seen offensive Togekiss quite a lot from Manchester Manetrix, which is fine because it was working. But we do actually just see an exchange of rocks, or sorry, exchange of hazards, rather. Now, most times Miltank will run Body Slam. It is more of a support. He doesn't go for the damage, just goes for more of the hack sort of thing. And, you know, getting this damage wouldn't be too bad. Seismitoss flying out. A Sludge Bomb will be revealed on the Roselia. So Sylveon be damned. It's got to be a little safer than that. So now what's the answer? We do see Seismic Toss, which, you know, is gonna... I don't actually know the damage between Miltank, Body Slam, and Seismic Toss, but nonetheless, he's getting that damage down. Has to be healed off via Synthesis or Giga Drain. So, or Rest. Sorry, I keep forgetting Rest. We'll have to see. Lure Cresselia is taking their time. Both taking their time as Togekiss will make its way in. Seismic Toss comes down. It's a lot of damage. Now you gotta make the decision. Are you blowing this away? It is leftover, so we can assume it might have attacks, but it's also gonna have Defog, Support, try and get the Paralysis down, something of the sort. But what is he gonna go for first? Is he gonna go for the heal, or is he gonna go for the Hazarding? Because either way, if he goes for the Hazard removal, that's a lot of damage put down on Togekiss. You gotta be worried that you're gonna be put a little bit behind. But then again, he should feel safe to go for the Defog, knowing that he could most likely... Actually, yeah, he should be able to Roost this off, or just go for Defog. Either way, the Roost is gonna come out, can tank it up. Saizo coming in. Actually, now you look at it, there's 2 Stealth Rockers on this team, so heavily favoring getting those rocks up. Kind of important, though. I mean, to be honest, we see Regenerator. You want to make sure Regenerator only gets that extra value versus that extra value, to be fair. So let's see what this Seismitoad wants to do out here. It was switched in onto the Togekiss. So you can only assume he's got Ice Beam or something of the sort to try and take this thing down. Does it get Stone Edge? I don't know. I don't know what this Pokemon gets. We have seen leftovers on it, though, right? Nope, item exists. What am I saying? What do we see on this thing? We haven't seen anything on it yet, actually. Could also just try and go for the hazards and, or sorry, for the status. He actually ends up going for Earthquake, predicting something. Oh, you know what? You know, it's not the worst thing. He probably predicted the Nidoqueen. He was thinking the Nidoqueen because he knows that Toxic is on this. That maybe he was thinking Nidoqueen would come in. That you know, that's not actually the worst play in the world. I don't necessarily fault him for trying to make that play. It does get flinched on this turn, which could have been the time he was trying to go for the Toxic on the Togekiss. But I mean, a decent prediction. Tyrantrum will come in now, doesn't care about Air Slash, and I don't think if you don't find Aura Sphere, this thing's gonna be switching. You don't want to take damage for this no matter what. You don't know if this thing's Scarfed, Banded, whatever, but something's gonna have to take a ginormous forehead to the face. No, Roost only lasts until the end of turn, Snowbear, so if he uses it on the switch, Roost does get used up. So Roost would not stay. It is literally just, no. It stays for the round regardless of when it is used. So even if it uses it second, it loses the landing at that time. But here's the thing. Now you got a Head Smash potentially flying at your team. Who takes it? Zygarde, I mean, Nidoqueen can take it? At least. Maybe if this thing is banned, you can kind of tell if it's banned. But then that's your special defensive Soaker. So, you know, I don't know exactly what's going to be going on. Oh no! He misses the forehead and he misses the air slash! And he does see it's faster. The Head Smash one-shots. Oh, man. Not that it would have mattered. The damage would have been fine for Togekiss to get onto the Tyrantrum. That's not the bigger deal. The fact that he stayed in is an enormous deal. Just the sheer fact he could have been wrecked for making that play and seeing that Little Cresselia just had an easy Head Smash. Trying to get something done, but the speed should be indicative. Because I don't think Tyrantrum... I mean, how fast is Togekiss? Let's see. Togekiss is a defensive set. Actually, he's not that fast. So this thing will outspeed because it is offensive, right? But the fact that he should know that, and if he was going to have something tank the hit, maybe this is the way he goes in. Maybe Alomola had to come in flat to know it could take a hit, try and get the burn. But if this thing gets destroyed, Little Cresselias feel good, and they don't even have to do anything insane anymore. Taizo comes in, the Wish comes out. But feeling good. Roselia can come in, get its heal, no big deal. As Toxic will be on deaf ears, as he will heal up to full. Nice pseudo healing there for the defensive core. But that Togekiss staying maybe was the only thing he could pretty much part with, because he needs that Nidoqueen to be bulky with his Assault Vest and take hits so they can get kills back. So I want to say it's the right play to let that Head Smash go. Just unfortunate that with that miss, he could have gotten just a tiny bit extra damage, and with those spikes would eventually add up onto the likes of the Tyrantrum. Now, here's my issue, is we need that spinner, if it's Excadrill, to happen soon. Because otherwise, he's going to start having to switch Pokemon in at 19%, and it's not going to look pretty, and now the poison is on the Miltank, so that's the best case scenario here, other than him going for Toxic or something like that. And I don't think it's very useful here to necessarily go for the Seismitoss, because with the Seismitossing, he just knows that a Alomomola can come back in. Alomola's going to go for Wish, heal up whoever, stay safe. What have we actually seen from the Seismitoss and Stealth Rock? So we haven't seen if he's running Toxic. He could be running Toxic. He'd also be running Milk Drink as well. Body Slam is another move that you could potentially see on the Miltank. Earthquake as well. Like, there's a few things Miltank can do. It's a fairly respectable Stealth Rocker in the sense that it's base 100 speed. So you don't have to invest into it. It's a fairly fast Stealth Rock setter, and can kind of get those... It can be tanky enough to get those clutch Body Slams off to cripple some Pokemon. So it's actually, like, it's not the best, but it is a decent pickup here to just kind of make it work on your team. And Sap Sipper is always a great check for Sleep Powder Spore, etc., stuff like that. It always helps to have something that can just absorb attacks that can be obnoxious and just kind of get into people's minds. But at this point, Manchester Manectric are down to 1 minute making a decision, taking a lot of their time pool here. And as we mentioned before, time pools matter because that means you have to make a lot of faster plays to get it all back. The Excadrill will make its way in as the Sludge Bomb will be resisted completely. But now Manchester has literally as much time as you would normally have online, as you will see that Earthquake once again happen. Good damage, but I don't think we're going to see the same mistake. Yeah, Sylveon comes in. He knows I can't risk that burn. But Manchester Manectric, knowing that, also knows that they can go for a free Wish. The damage won't matter. So, you know, it's free no matter what. Toxic does come out. An exchange Toxic would be cool. But, oh, excuse me. It doesn't actually happen. Actually, one thing we didn't see is their Heal Bell on this Sylveon. Excuse me. Scald will happen, but it'll do nothing as the Heal Bell now comes out. Okay, so both things, just different Pokemon. Toxic happens again, Wish happens again. This can rinse and repeat, and everything's going to stay healthy. But will Manchester Manectric use this as an opportunity to pivot into something to manage this? Nidoqueen would be a great pivot right now to put down pressure with the likes of that Sludge Wave. And one thing to note, actually, Tyrantrum comes in over Shaman. So, you know, getting that damage out would be wonderful. Toxic flies out. Yes, he will heal up the Seismitoad. It is a little tragic that it has to take all of that additional damage with getting the heal. But, you know, you have the likes of your Sylveon, which doesn't have to worry. And now Manectric can come in. Great play here by Lunar Cresselia, finally finding that way in, despite the fact that, yeah, you still have to go back and heal Bell your Pokemon off to heal them up. But Mega Man is online. 11 series in, still knows what he wants to do. Nidoqueen comes out. Hopefully Mega Man saw this coming and will go for his Flame. See, he went for Switch Man. He didn't go for Flame Man. He had to go for Flame Man. Didn't get the right booster off. Shooting enough rice into Nidoqueen's mouth, but doesn't care because it's wearing a jacket, so it's not going to get messy. Now you have to hard switch. What do? You can't go for HP Ice. You're going to get destroyed by Earth Power. This is so tough, and especially since you have Toxic on that Seismitoad, and you have to come in on a hit plus spikes. 2 layers, nonetheless. That's 19%, plus the 6% for the poison. Then the damage comes through. Seismitoad might not live to ever do that Earthquake. So now, what is the Pokemon that you send in to take this? Because everything dies to Earth Power. Miltank? I don't know. But Miltank's too low too, so it might have to be a time to sack something off. Send in Tyrantrum and say, hey, I can threaten you and make you leave. But now Lunar Cresselia is kind of dipping into their time pool. As now Seismitoad is going to come in. Yeah, okay. But is it faster? It's barely not faster if they're both running max speed. And I'm pretty sure this is not a Scarf Seismitoad. Now he's just going to have to let it die. But instead, he's like, no, I don't need to take any damage on Nidoqueen. I can just switch. Who cares? Earthquake does a sizable amount to Roselia, though. If there's any caveat, but that was supposed to be a Pokemon that could say hi, and now it has to say bye. Doesn't get the value you wanted to see. Excadrill will come back in. We'll try and get the kill on this Roselia, but I mean, Alomomola is free. It has nothing to worry about. And we don't see this over. We keep seeing this over and over again from Lunar Cresselia. He's not playing around with Alomomola. We gotta see spin. We gotta see something. This makes me actually question if it's choiced in some way, because like, I don't know. He's just going to go for Protect here, and he's going to make the switch to try and get Mega Man in now to put pressure down as he goes for Protect. Maybe? But, I mean, like, he doesn't lose anything from this. He heals up to 83, 89 with the leftovers. He's got Regenerator. He can go heal any other Pokemon he wants to heal off. He can bring Roselia in if he thinks that Excadrill's going to switch out. So, like, I don't know. His Ludocrystalia's kind of lost handling Alomomola. I really think the Shaman plus the Mega Man would have been good, but then you got to bring other Pokemon like Tyrantrum. So those three together with another wall would have been great. Scald to predict the fact that he would have stayed in to do the damage. That was risky. If a crit came through and Alomola's down, this is what's been giving Tyler headaches. That would have been a great crit for him, but not going to see it. Now it comes down to this. When we see the status on the Alomomola, because Aromatherapy can't exist on Roselia. Oh my god, we've seen Giga Drain. We haven't seen its last move, I believe, so there's so many questions in this match that I feel like they should have had to be answered, but both players are kind of playing... Well, you know what? No, Ivan's been playing very well. He's had control throughout this entire time. It's just you'd wish that... Well, it's not you wish. There should be a way that if Ludocrystalia's brought a much more aggressive team, just kind of put Ivan on the back foot with all these heavy hitters, Shaman, Tyrantrum, Mega Manectric, all these Pokemon would just be smashing into Ivan, and you have to see the answers, because then if he has to answer, you learn more about what his team composition is going to have, and if he doesn't have that answer, especially in Game 2, you get a free point, because you get the kills on him. But even in Game 1, if you're able to just come out swinging and say, your walls are going down. Ooh, we see the switch, the double switch, though. Roselia feeling good. Both of them get... This could be a while, guys. Go make some popcorn. Size of Toss happens again. Third layer of spikes up. It's almost like it's difficulty spikes. Literally, it's difficulty spikes in your game. The longer you stay, the harder it gets. Wave after wave, harder to switch in. Size of Toss, as you see, does absolutely nothing. You can't have Miltank tanking any more damage. You don't want it burned. Not that it matters. The Protect comes in. He just wants to get a lot of healing as Toxic will be used. Did want to check for Toxic. Does confirm Miltank is carrying Toxic. And that's the type of strategies you need to see. You need to be able to scout and see what moves are coming out. I don't feel like Ludocrystalias are forcing much of the Manchester's hand. Manchester Manectric have 60 seconds. Don't want to lose the timeout. Zygarde 10%. This is the move, but it takes a hefty chunk. If it's going to set up, if it's going to do damage, it's got a Tectonic Edge right now. It's got to go for Ground DMZ, or it's just going to be wasted here because Miltank feels very comfortable being able to toss this dog around. Cows on dog brutality. You don't want it. And he's just going to go for it. How much damage is it going to do? Kaboom! Nothing. That is one bulky-ass cow drinks milk from its own udders and says, deal with it. As Dragon Dance, without me now, this is risky. If that Seismic Toss goes through, oh, he misses Toxic! He doesn't Seismic Toss! 2 Seismic Tosses would kill off this. Ooh, that's a huge mistake coming out from Ludocrystalias. 2 hits and he would have been safe, but now we got a Zygarde that can actually potentially, depending on how much damage, we saw how much Tectonic Edge did. 1,000 arrows might not do enough here. He's going up to +2. Yeah, he will get the damage. He's still favoring the Toxic, though. He's favoring this chip damage, but he could have just killed this thing off by this turn. This is a gifted, easy thing here, as now he goes for the Size of Toss. He didn't have to sack off this Miltank. Oh, man, he didn't have to sack off anything to this. Bit of an oversight seeing how much that Size of Toss was doing to Zygarde. You didn't have to come to this point, it did. Oh, dear. Sorry, oh, cow. Oh, dog, oh, cow. Do you guys remember that show, Cat Dog, by the way? It's a great show. Cow's gotta fall for it. Zygarde will go down, but that's definitely gonna be something back at the replay, back at Ludocrystalia's HQ. Gonna have to go back and look and see, hey, could I have just instead killed? The answer is yeah, you could have just instead killed. And now it costs you a cow, and that cow was helping him stay in the match, actually, quite a bit, being able to tank up a lot of the other walls while we get into this giant, stupid stall fight. But now you've got this Sylveon that's not healed. It's toxic, so it's going to have to work its way through here. Alomomola can easily just stall this out quite a bit, as Double Wish does come through. And, you know, you got to think. This could take a while, but luckily for him, he can, because Alomomola is out, Tyler can end up going for the Heal Bell, get rid of the Toxic, and keep his thing nice and healthy. The Scald will happen before the Alomomola, or Scald will happen before the Heal Bell as well, so you'll be status free. And you know what? Getting a burn on Sylveon would be the best case scenario, so you win Star Wars. How are we looking on wishes, by the way? Down to 11 wishes for Alomomola, down to 12 wishes for Blue Lady. So, both of them still here for a long run, but you gotta wait for that offensive pivot. Nidoqueen and Absol are still waiting in the back. Mega Man and Tyrantrum both waiting as well. It's gonna come down to who makes the first play, and is it the right play. This is crunch time. Although, again, it's going to be the story of this entire series. Could have Tyler forced Ivan's hand quicker? The answer is Manchester United have 30 seconds. Maybe just waits for the timer instead. Because don't know what to do about that. We're too far in for a redo. 20 seconds left on the clock. Manchester United need to make that move. 10, 15 seconds. He gets the move into the Roselia. He's got to think quick now. The nice thing here is the longer he had to think, the quicker he has to make these plays. So now both of them are going to be healed up. Tyrantrum is in on the Roselia. This is the force. And because Manchester United are on a timer, this could be really bad. Ivan could crumble under pressure here. 10 seconds into the thing. The head smash misses the second time. And the Giga Drain will do a fair amount of damage to the Tyrantrum. 15 seconds left for Manchester Man. He needs to make the moves. Another head smash miss. Ivan is looking out beyond all imagination, and he's gonna get this kill for free. Why is Pokemon like this? Why is it like this? Look at the damage that he's missed, and now he loses an offense Pokemon that was crucial for him to try and get extra moves off. The Earthquake, the Head Smash, all of that would have been so easy for him just to keep spamming, and now Ivan just runs with it. Even with the timer against him, may have just cheesed out a 2-0 without even cheesing. He just had to exist and the cheese happened. This Excadrill does make its way back in. The nice thing is Alomomola will have to come back in for him. But because he has no pressure on, he has no poison. He has nothing to threaten that Alomomola with. The wish into the Roselia can happen again. Manchester United building themselves up a 30-second timer pool. Mega Man will be the switch, though, after. That's just a lot of... Well, I mean, it could happen now, but he does get in on the Alomomola. Okay, so now these are the pivots we expected from Tyler. This is going to put the pressure down. Alomola's got to be careful. You don't want to be taking... Even though you know you can take it, you don't want to take it. He has to go into Nidoqueen. Will we see a double switch from this? And the answer is yes. We might actually see him switch it up, as he just has to go for Protect the Scout. So well played by Manchester Manectric. But I mean, at this point, you gotta feel for Lunacriselli as he's kind of forced to try and make these super plays to see if Ivan gets too antsy. But because Protect is a thing in Pokemon, he doesn't have to put that risk at him because, well, he's fully healed. He has nothing to scare him off. There's no Toxic Exchange. He's missed that boat. He has to spin. Otherwise, this is basically the end for Lunacriselli as he ends up just going for Earthquake again. He might not have spin, ladies and gentlemen. This might not be a spinning Excadrill, but it seems to be an offensive poke. And that's going to put the nail in the Cresselia coffin, potentially, because now he's stuck with having just to do his damage, and he's soaking up so much. Is his the team that doesn't have Defoggers, only spinners? I can't remember. But oh man. What is there to say about all this? They're both running down the clock trying to figure out what to do. Lunacriselli is actually only running down the clock down to 60 seconds. Trying to make deals with Ivan to tell him to forfeit. This man's not giving up. He'll take the hacks and he'll run with it. But oh dear. You know, those misses were very important because he would have still had a Tyrantrum to at least try and do some damage. And that means that something like Nidoqueen would have had to come in. But even then, with the amount, like, it would have only been 56%. So 2 head smashes would have taken it down. He would have been healthy enough to switch it out, switch it back in onto all these spikes. And now Excadrill has to die for it not being a spinning Mon. Alomomola once again showing its bulk, but you have to question, it got away with a lot. How much more can it get away with? You know what I even think he's going to go for? He just goes for Scald. Because he knows that Wish has to happen on Sylveon. He's got to stay alive, but it doesn't matter. Nidoqueen can handle the final two Pokemon. Heal Bell will come out, but for what? Actually, if he had technically gone for the likes of the Wish, he could have just let Sylveon die. Actually, no, he had to switch in the Manectric, but nonetheless, Sylveon will fall, and ladies and gentlemen, Manchester Manectric find their way in, and will take the 2-0 on the week. Why is all my stuff broken? You know, I'm really getting tired of your shit, Slops. Heh. Heh. Wait. Oh, God. Wait, I freed it. He wins! Yay! There you go. GG, 2-0 to Manchester Man. To Man, if you will. You could chalk it up to the team composition. You could chalk it up to Shaman not getting its time. But nonetheless, Ivan is going to irk it out. That Roselia turn really did matter, because it would be interesting to see what that Tyrantrum would have done for the rest of the match. But alas, we are playing Pokemon. We can never expect anything too competitive, right? And hey, why wouldn't you run away with that 2-0 if you can? That's why you play Pokemon. You look to get the cheese. Sometimes. And we're going to have to see what those points imply for the standings at the end of Week 3. Let's just jump into it right now. Let's go take a look at the standings. At the end of Week 3, ladies and gentlemen, Fortnite Ninja is the only undefeated coach in the tournament. Sits at the top with Manchester Manectric with those 3 points, getting into second place. I Am Groot in third place. TC Thunderous with that 1-1 will be in fourth. Ludicrous tying the Golden State Greninjas, the resurging Golden State Greninjas, so early in this series. Both being tied for fifth. Todd Skyrim Howard, Las Vegas Golden Lucario's Ice Cold, and Sarasota Suicunes trying to make their way into that top 6 the best that they can. But nonetheless, we're going to have to discuss all of those series into great detail on the Pro Poke Podcast. For now, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the end for me tonight. Thank you very much for watching the Pro Pokeball Season 5, Week 3. Week 4, August 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time start. We're live at 7 p.m. Eastern Time start. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. To all the coaches and everybody else, GG and good night. We'll see you next week for streams. Pay attention to your social media and Discord for everything that you want to see. If you want to see more content from other people, Team Pocket Aces, we'll be talking about the newest trailer stuff soon enough. And everywhere you guys support the content is greatly appreciated. We'll see you next week, guys, for more streams. Have fun dissecting all the stuff we saw today with the trailers for Sword and Shield. Have a fantastic weekend. Peace.